Welcome, everyone. This is WCBN Sports. We are live here from the Crisler Center in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and we are here for an exciting Big Ten matchup of the Maryland Terrapins versus your own Michigan Wolverines. My name is Mayer, Cusnir, and I'm here with
Shai, Dweck.
And we are super excited to be able to broadcast this game to you guys live from the Crisler Center. So, before the game starts, we have a few minutes to talk about what has been happening with your Lady Wolverines and what happened last game versus Rutgers. How did that game go down?
Well, it was a really ugly win in New Jersey for the Wolverines, eking it out by 6 points, 56-50. And it was just a really ugly shooting performance, Mayer. They shot 20 for 55 from the field. That's only good for 36% and an abysmal 20% from three. They're going to have to play a little bit better and certainly shoot better on the offensive end to beat the Maryland Terrapins tonight, both tied for 5th in the Big Ten.
So we're here very excited for an incredible Big Ten matchup because right now we're in the time of the season where every single game counts for the March tournament, right? The NCAA tournament where there will be only one champion. And we are super excited to see how that goes down today and how that will impact the standings of the Big Ten, where actually I looked today, the Big Ten is tied #1 for most teams projected to be in the NCAA tournament in March. So incredible competition here in the Big Ten, and we're rooting for the Wolverines to make it out. Let's talk a little bit about the new recruits that the Wolverines have for next year. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the two young ladies that are coming here?
Well, it came out yesterday afternoon, Tuesday afternoon, that Michigan had signed 2 McDonald's All-Americans in Olivia Olson and Selah Swords. Only one of 6, they're one of 6 schools, Michigan is, to sign multiple 2024 McDonald's All-Americans in the class of 2024. Olson is ranked number 3 in the country, Swords number 11. Swords playing with getting pretty critical FIBA experience on the senior women's national team for Canada. And Swords in her junior season averaged over 25 points a game. She, and I mean Olson, is the highest recruited basketball player, men's or women's, to commit to the University of Michigan in 30 years.
Wow, incredible. And I'm sure that's going to be incredible for this team next year when last year the Wolverines, they lost 2 very valuable scorers, and now for them to bring in 2 great scorers as freshmen that will hopefully be here for 3-4 years, I'm sure that will do wonders for this program. And let's talk a little bit about the starting lineup. So for your Wolverines, we have starting Hansen, Thelia, Hobbs, Evans, and Williams. That lineup, when they are starting this season, they have a record of 2-1. And for the Maryland Terrapins, the starting lineup for them is Sellers, who has been a standout player this year at the guard, Brown Turner, McDaniel, Alexander, and Kubek. So we have 2 star-studded teams facing off, and we're in here for a treat, I'm assuming, right?
Absolutely, and you kind of mentioned those guards that the Wolverines have coming in. It's going to be a battle of the guards tonight, Mayer. Hansen hit a critical 3 to cut a 10-2 Rutgers 1 to have them leave Piscataway with a win on Sunday, which was huge. Thalia also contributed with 16 points of her own. That's what she's averaging, I believe, for the season. Or excuse me, 25, I believe, from Thalia against Rutgers. And then if you look on the other side, you have Cheyenne Sellers, who's really been phenomenal for this Terrapins team. She's averaging around 16 points per game. Started all 18 games for the Terrapins, and her as well as Bree McDaniel have been hawks on the defensive end, accumulating 64 steals on the season between the two of them. It'll be grit versus grit tonight on both ends of the floor.
And that's what we want to see in a great basketball game, right? We are probably 30 seconds away from tip-off. We have the Wolverines wearing our own maize color, and Maryland is wearing black. And tip-off is right about now. And Maryland wins a very contested tip-off with them bringing it up the court. McDaniel's bringing the ball up right on the block. Moving around the perimeter, trying to make something happen. Failed screen, double team now. McDaniel passes it to Kubek. Kubek dishes it off, and that's a laid bucket. And Brown Turner made that Right back on the other end, Lauren Hansen passes it quickly to Filia, and Filia misses a 3. Rebound, quick transition from the Terrapins, and they make a play happen with a foul, and an offensive foul actually against McDaniel. So now the Wolverines will be able to take up the ball. Lauren Hansen has been bringing the ball up the past 2 games, and she's been doing an incredible job. Great from the perimeter. Hansen moves it to Filia. Filia on the block trying to make something happen. She moves it to Evans. Evans to Hobbs. Hobbs moves it around and almost gets stolen at the hands of Evans. That was Alexander on the Terrapins trying to make a play. And now the Wolverines will take it out from the sideline.
Early in this game, it seems like both sides are having a hard time getting settled. We saw one kind of corner 3 attempt from Failure. She's struggled a little bit this season with the consistency
she struggled
from the beyond the arc, shooting just 32% from 3 on the year. Hopefully she'll be able to get more consistency throughout the course
Absolutely.
of the game.
Filia passes it into Hansen. Hansen gives it to Hobbs in the corner. And Hobbs steps out of bounds as she tries to jab step and penetrate. The score is 2-0, Maryland winning at 9:06 in the first quarter. We have McDaniel bringing the ball up for Maryland. Maryland moves around the perimeter, gives it to the top of the key to Alexander. And that's McDaniel shooting a 3 and knocked down 3 by McDaniel.
McDaniel has that shot. Wolverine defense just little late to put a hand down, and she's going to make you pay 9 times out of 10.
Absolutely. Bringing it up with pressure, the Wolverines now. They're able to get it out of it. But now Hansen has the ball at the top. She tries penetrating, is stopped, met with pressure. Gives it away to Evans. Hobbs in the corner, wide open 3. And she barely misses.
And
Maryland
that's a
rebound,
great pass from Evans to swing it to the corner. Failure, again, cannot get the corner 3 to go.
Absolutely. And now Maryland shooting a 3 on the opposite side, and that is no good for Alexander. Tough defense here played by Maryland, right?
Yeah, they're trying to pressure these Wolverine ball handlers, particularly Lauren Hansen, as they're bringing the ball up the court, perhaps trying to take some time out of the shot clock, disrupt the Wolverine sets. But so far, they're getting the looks they want. 2 quality corner 3s, just Failure not able to convert. Let's see if they're able to probe the ball inside now in this offensive possession.
Absolutely. Michigan brings the ball in. Hansen has the ball at the top. Tries to get it in, but can't seem to get it in there. Filia now has the ball outside. Beautiful pass inside to Williams. Williams misses the layup, gets her own rebound, puts it up again and misses again, and now Maryland has the ball back.
Well, it's a good job from Williams to make herself available down there, and a great pass from Filia. Even if she's not scoring, she's distributing. Williams just kind of smokes 2 gimmies at the rim. She wants those back.
Absolutely. Now Maryland at the top of the key. They're getting double teamed, and that's caused a turnover. Wolverines have the ball in transition. Filia taking it from coast to coast now, and she misses the transition layup.
That's 3 missed layups for the Wolverines to start the game in the last, 30 seconds of play, Meyer.
If we're looking at it right now, the score should be probably 7-5, 8-5 Wolverines leading, but the ball is just not going in for them right now. We'll see if something changes. Great pass to Filia inside, and Filia misses the basket.
These are the looks that you're going to have to convert against a really good Maryland team as they get the ball into transition.
And now Maryland brings it in transition, like you just said. They're shooting a corner 3, and they make that corner 3. That was Brown Turner who makes a corner 3. It is 8-0, Maryland winning it. 7 minutes left in the first quarter. Hansen bringing the ball up. Met with a double team in the backcourt. Tries to dish it out to Hobbs, does so successfully. Hobbs brings it in, puts up a tough shot, and makes a layup. And Hobbs has emerged as a great scorer for the Wolverines. Now Maryland in transition. They're trying to get it inside. Gives it back to the corner. Goes into Kubek the ball. Saves it back out to Brown Turner. And now Sellers has the ball at the block M. She's trying to do something. Gets a screen. Filia guarding her tight. Great pass to the corner to Briggs. And she swishes a little jumper from the corner.
Defense has to converge on Sellers. She's got the size to take it in. A great behind the back move to just draw the defense and kick it out to Briggs for the easy
Absolutely.
jump shot.
Hobbs has the ball, trying to penetrate, gives it to Filia in the corner. they're playing a zone defense, Maryland, and it's been seeming to work very well for them. Hansen now trying to penetrate, unable to do so too. Gives it down to Evans. Evans against Kubek, puts away a turnaround tough shot, gets her own rebound, and is fouled on the putback attempt.
Well, great effort there from Evans to follow her shot, work to get that offensive rebound. And what Michigan needs to do is just work that baseline on offense. This Terrapin zone is going to have trouble tracking those cutters behind them, and they're going to be able to get those entry passes. We saw one in to failure earlier in the game. We saw one into Cam Williams from failure earlier in the game. And I bet that's what Coach Kim Barnes-Arico is talking to her team about right now, as Evans cannot get the first free throw to go. That hurts for a Michigan team.
All these teams, yeah. All these points hurt. And she is able to get the second one. So now it's 10-3, 5 minutes 55 left in the first quarter, with Sellers bringing the ball for Maryland. Tries to bring it up quick, but is stopped by Hobbs. Hobbs now guarding Brown Turner. Brown Turner gives it up to Kubek, and she is pickpocketed by Hansen. And now it is Maryland's ball on the Michigan baseline.
How about Jordan Hobbs this year? She's been able to come in, play quality time, whether she's had to start or come off the bench, and just really elevate her role this year to be really a defensive stopper.
Absolutely. She's been extremely important. On the inbounds, Kyra Evans with the steal. Now Filia in transition, one-on-one versus Kubek. She's met down low. Hobbs now gives it back to Evan at the free throw line. She's met with a lot of pressure. Tries to back down on Kubek and is able to convert on the easy layup.
That's a great move from Evans. Drop step into the right hand.
Absolutely. Now Maryland in transition, and they're able to convert an easy, quick basket, and that was Brown Turner with the layup. She now has 7 points, leading all scorers.
See Elise Brett come back into the game. She saw her first time back from injury against Rutgers. She did not hit a field goal, but made 2 crucial free throws down the stretch as Lauren Hansen hits one from downtown. A much-needed bucket for the Wolverines.
Deep three from Lauren Hansen right there. That is an absolute momentum changer for the Wolverines, and they need that right now as they're only down 4. And now in transition, they're met by the Wolverines. Number 13, Masaunis shoots a ball, and she misses off the backboard. And we have Elisa Brett breaking the ball up, gives it to Filia. Filia tries penetrating one-on-one. She kicks it back out to Hansen. Hansen likes the 3. She's giving some moves. Now passes it down to Evans. Evans puts up a tough shot, and it hits the front rim. Now Sellers brings the ball up from Maryland, gives it to Masaunis. 3 from Maryland, and misses off the back iron. That was Briggs with the 3-point shot.
Well, Maryland hit a couple threes early, which was big for them. But now they seem to be settling on the offensive end of the floor. Settling for these 3-point shots at the wing, around the elbow area, even in the corner that are contested. And if you're Michigan, the Wolverine defense, you are okay with that. Meanwhile, Michigan, they're looking to push the ball in transition to break down that Terrapin zone. So far, have not been able to get a lot of buckets from there, missing those open layups.
Yep.
But a big 3 from Hansen. She's shooting around 35% from 3 this year. Nice little lift.
Yeah,
and
that's going to be huge.
Down by 4.
When this is going to be a close game at the end of regulation, these missed buckets at the beginning of the first quarter are going to be huge. So we'll see now if Michigan can catch up a little bit, as they're now only down 4. Now let me ask you a question. Who do you think is the one player on the Wolverines that needs to step up their game tonight for them to beat Maryland?
You know, the tempting answer is Layla Failure, right? But she's kind of had an inconsistent year. She paved the way for Rutgers, had help, not a lot of help from one scorer. 9 out of 10 Wolverines who played scored in that game. So it's hard to say one particular player, but I'd have to say it's got to be Alyssa Brett. She's coming off the bench.
Yeah.
She didn't shoot well in the last performance, but you're going to need to give Lauren Hansen a blow at times in this game. And when she does, because Lauren Hansen's been consistent, Brett's going to have to pick up the slack, make clutch shots, and that ultimately, if they win this game, is what I think will be the difference.
Absolutely, and I was actually broadcasting the game where Elisa Brett went down with the injury, and let me tell you, it was actually I don't want to say pretty full stadium, but there were a nice amount of fans, and you just felt the air come out of the stadium. I mean, everyone just saw her just clutch her knee when she went down, and I can tell you, at least us broadcasters, we all thought she either tore her ACL, meniscus, PCL. We all thought it was something much worse, so we are extremely excited that she is back on the court so soon, and she only missed 2 games, am I right?
Yeah, not missing a significant period of time. The last 2 games on the road, they, of course, won against Rutgers and then lost against Nebraska, so splitting that 2-game road stand. Brett's been a kind of a crucial guard coming off the bench this year. Transfer from Bowling Green, had a career high on December 16th of 27 points. So she can provide a nice scoring list for this team on any given night.
Cameron Williams comes in for Kyra Evans, and now Layla Feely is bringing the ball up. She's met with a double team right on the corner on the front court. Gives it up to Camp Schroeder, who also comes in. Gives it up to Williams, now to Felia in the perimeter. She's trying to do something with the ball, is unable to get it to where she wants. Now gives it to Williams. Back out to Brett. Brett shoots a 3 and misses. Rebound by Maryland. And that's going to be Sellers bringing the ball up for Maryland.
It's a good shot from Elisa Brett. Just doesn't quite take enough time to set the feet, load up. But I guarantee she'll make one of those down the stretch.
Absolutely. And now Brown Turner penetrates, and she's able to convert a tough layup. She's now going to have 9 points, leading all scorers, and now she has more points than the entire Wolverines offense. We'll see if something changes about that. Now Brett gives it to Camp Schroeder. Camp Schroeder gives it to Felia. Felia penetrates against 3 people and makes a tough turnaround layup. That's what we need from Felia, right? We need those tough shots to go in for her to really do a nice chunk of the scoring.
Absolutely working that mid-range game. That's a tough shot, but if that's the shot that she's comfortable with, Wolverine fans will take it every day of the week.
Absolutely. And now Sellers resets the offense, so it's now 10-14, Maryland leading. Sellers tries to penetrate, unable to do so. Now gives it back out. And a perfect pass. That is perfect pass to Fisher on Maryland.
I mean, that's what these Terrapins guards give you. They've got 3 guards that average double figures for the season that can pass. And that's just Brown Turner making a great pass, scoring and contributing from an assist perspective.
Absolutely. And now the Wolverines on offense make a careless turnover down in the post. And we have the Maryland in transition, and they are fouled down low. That is Briggs, who was fouled, so she will shoot 2 free throws. And she was fouled by... She was fouled by Taylor Williams on the Wolverines. And now we have some substitutions for the Wolverines. We have some starters, some bench players. Right now, it's going to be Elisa Brett, Layla Felia, Kyra Evans, Jordan Hobbs, and Camp Schroeder.
Yeah, and on that turnover from Taylor Williams, just trying to force the pass inside when you didn't need to, as the ball will go out of bounds. Stay with the Terrapins.
Maryland keeps the ball, and she splits the free throws, making the first one, missing the second one. It is 17-10 with 2 minutes and 16 seconds left in the first quarter. And these turnovers are just killers, right, for the Wolverines.
Right. I mean, and it's not, they're kind of getting a taste of their own medicine with this Maryland team as Sellers steps out of bounds on the baseline. Lucky break for the Wolverine D. It will be Michigan ball.
Incredibly lucky break. And they've been pressing the whole game now, trying to double T them right when they get past the half court into the corner. And Hobbs is stuck with the ball, almost causes a turnover, but Felia, and a 10-second violation is charged on the Wolverines. They've been struggling these past 2 possessions to get the ball past the half court, right?
Absolutely. It's predictable. They're doing this back and forth with, Hansen and Brett or Felia, whoever's up there. They need more help to get the ball up the floor.
Yeah.
It's a tight, kind of Viking-like press where they're trapping at the top of the key, and it's a hard pass to make. They've got size. The Terrapins do at guard, which makes it hard to get it over their outstretched arms. That's a great pass inside to Briggs, who will finish it for 2. The Terrapins are firing on all cylinders.
They are firing on all cylinders. They're really clicking on offense and also on defense right now, as Michigan is going to try to make something out of this. Felia tries to penetrate and hits a hard Euro, but is fouled also hard as she tries to put the shot up. It'll be a blocking foul. And that's going to be against Alexander.
Yeah, it looks like Alexander's shaking up a
Yeah,
little
she's
bit.
shaking up a little bit. That was a hard hit down low.
I've been there. It's probably a knee to thigh situation.
Those are painful.
Painful, not pleasant. Hopefully, for the Terrapins' sake, she'll be able to stay in there. The rest of the game, she looks to be okay.
Yeah.
It's a good job from Failure, though, trying to assert herself in this game, taking control, trying to give the Wolverines a bucket as she misses.
Yeah, she does miss the first free throw, which this has been a tough opening for Layla Filia. She has 2 points, is 1 for 5 from the field, 0 for 2 from the 3-point, and she does make the second free throw, so that'll put her 50% on the free throw line, 1 for 2.
And you mentioned the turnovers have been really crucial in this game.
They have been crucial.
But
Wolverines with 3 turnovers.
Right. And they were able to get 7 turnovers for them against they were able to force 21 turnovers against Rutgers. And that was the difference.
Yeah.
Here, it's the opposite.
And a tough shot is put up by Fisher as she misses the layup, but that ball is taken back up by Brown Turner, and she makes an and one layup. So she'll have an opportunity to make 1 more point at the free throw line. And Wolverines have been committing a lot of fouls this quarter, haven't they? They have put them on the line already 2 times, and this will be the 3rd time on the line for them. As Brown Turner's on the line, ready to shoot her first free throw. And she misses a free throw. Elisa Brett gets a quick rebound. They're trying to do something in transition now because that press has really been hard to uncover. Hansen at the top, gives it to Hobbs. Hobbs shoots a 3 and nails the corner 3. Finally a momentum boost for the Wolverines.
Big shot from Jordan Hobbs.
And in transition, Briggs does a Euro step layup, and she misses right at the rim, but the ball goes out of bounds, and it'll stay on this half of the court for Maryland to attempt to shoot the ball again.
Michigan needs to do a better job of slowing down Maryland. They're trying to get to their spots early and often. Make them take more of that shot clock.
They're a quick team, Maryland. Maryland has been proving that they are very fast. Struggles to get it in, but gets it in to Brown Turner finally. She's down at the post, gives it back out to Fisher. Fisher gives it then to McDaniel. McDaniel breaks Elisa Brett's ankles and does a nice layup down low. Hansen's now bringing the ball up. Met at the top also. Now gives it to Brett at the perimeter. Evans has it. She's double teamed down low. This relentless Maryland offense has been doing a very good job, but they've also been committing a ton of fouls, which has been good for the Wolverines, but also unsettling them for them at the same time.
Right, and this is a kind of a coaching chess match between Brenda Freese, Maryland head coach, and Kim Barnes-Arico. You have this trap that Maryland's been implementing that Michigan really has had no answer for to start this game.
They've had no answer.
They've been unable to slow the Maryland break up the court, even when it's not a transition opportunity. And Michigan kind of just needs to settle in this game, and they have not been able to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure what will help is making some perimeter threes. It'll get them to a little bit clamped down and not be able to press them way too much. But Kyra Evans does make both free throws. That puts her at 5 for the night, and she is now tied with Jordan Hobbs for the leading, having the leading points for the Wolverines. And now the Wolverines seem to be putting some pressure on Maryland at the press, and they cause a turnover. That is Taylor Woodson, who now recovers the turnover and puts up a layup and is fouled. Taylor Woodson has been an absolute defensive star these past few games. She has always been guarding the top players when usually it's been Layla Filia. So we'll see if Woodson can now do something to slow down the hot Maryland Terrapins.
That's a big play from Woodson, 6-foot freshman from Minnesota, starting to get some more playing time a little bit, I'm sure, from Brett's injury contributing to that. 4-star recruit ranked number 59 in this class by ESPN. She makes good on the first free throw, cutting the lead to 6.
And these minutes by Woodson are going to be huge. We'll see if they can turn this game around a little bit, with it being 17 Wolverines to the 23 that Maryland has. 32 seconds left in the first quarter. And she misses from the back iron the second free throw, and Fisher gets the rebound, but she falls on the ground, and Woodson tries to get it again, but she's unable to do so. And now that is Sellers bringing the ball up. She's at the block M, and 20 seconds left. There's no shot clock anymore, so they can take the final shot if they would like to. Sellers being pressured by Woodson. Crowd is starting to get into it here at Crisler Center. double team. Sellers top, and Filia almost causes a turnover, and Briggs gets it back, gives it to Sellers, and Sellers barely misses a three, and that is it for the first quarter. We have Maryland leading the Wolverines 23-17. And what do you think needs to change for the Wolverines to come out on top, at least to come out on top in the second quarter?
Well, interesting enough, watching that last possession, this could have been Kim Barnes-Rico just trying to get some fire in this Wolverines team that's been struggling to start the game. But they double team the Sellers, which is, of course, Maryland's best player, or has been their best player for this year. And they've done a good job of taking her away in this game. 0 for 1, only attempted one shot, missed it, Sellers has, compared to Brown Turner, who's really
She's been perfect from the field. 5 for 5 from the field. 1 for 1 for 3-point. Her only missed shot was one free throw, which was the and one that she was not able to convert on. So she really has been the difference maker here for the Terrapins.
Absolutely. And, they've got 3 really good guards, and that's been the story of this game. Michigan's not going to be able to stop all 3, but they can limit them. So whether that's, putting more bodies towards Brown Turner or things of that nature, they've got to be able to protect the inside of the basket. That's where Maryland's been able to get these easy looks.
Yeah.
And so far, Michigan has not.
And something just really easily to point out right now is that Maryland is shooting almost double from what Michigan is shooting from the field. Maryland is shooting a 62.5% from the field. They are 10 for 16, while the Wolverines are a very poor 35.7%, 5 for 14 from the field. So we'll see if they'll be able to take more quality shots and really are able to convert with the opportunities that are given to them from this tough Maryland defense.
Yeah, and if you watch this game, the way it's unfolded, these Michigan turnovers, how much they've struggled to seemingly get into a flow of the offense, you'd think the lead would be more than just 6. So from that perspective, at the end of the first quarter, Michigan has to feel pretty good about only being down 6.
It's been a sloppy game for the Wolverines for now, so being down only 6, it is a promising sight if they can really keep it all together for this next quarter and maybe pull out a lead.
Absolutely.
And we are about to come back in for the second quarter. To everyone who is just joining us, we are WCBN Sports live from the Crisler Center here in Ann Arbor, watching the Wolverines playing the Terrapins. And we are here for an incredibly exciting matchup where it is 23 Terrapins to 17 Wolverines. And Michigan will begin with the ball as Lauren Hansen will get it. Lauren Hansen gives it to Taylor Woodson. Not passing the ball a lot more. Kyra Evans has it now to Filia. Filia holding a little bit, seeing what's open for her. Gives it up to Hobbs. Hobbs gives it back up to the top to Hansen. Hansen tries penetrating, gives it back out to Woodson. Now Hobbs down at the free throw line. She tries putting up a jump shot, and it hits nothing but air. It'll be Terrapin ball. Sellers bringing the ball up now.
Well, the Terrapins certainly watched the film against Rutgers. It was all Layla Falia in that game. And they just immediately bring another body over there, get the ball out of her hands, and the Wolverine possession stalls.
Yeah. And down low, we have Kubek against Evans. And Evans forces Kubek to travel down in the paint, which is a huge turnover. Now we'll see if Michigan can capitalize off this. Hansen bringing the ball up. Maryland still putting pressure and trying to press. Gives it to Woodson in the corner. Now back up to Hobbs. Hobbs gives to Filia. Filia now in the baseline. Stalls. Back out to Hansen. Hansen puts up a deep 3 and converts. Bang from Hansen. Hansen has been a lights out shooter for the Wolverines this season, and she has been huge from the perimeter for them. It is now 23-20. Michigan down to only 3 now. We'll see if they can finally pull out a lead. And Sellers gives the balls up now. And a foul is called on Taylor Woodson, and that's going to be an off-ball foul. She was guarding Sellers, and Woodson's really trying to lock down Sellers this game. She has 0 points, Sellers, this game, when usually she's the leading scorer for the Terrapins.
That's right, and it's been the 3 triples that Michigan's made. It's been the difference in this game that kept them in it.
Yeah, Great pass down low from Terrapins, but Quebec is unable to capitalize off that pass. Hansen now brings it up quickly. She's trying to make something. Gives it back up to Hobbs. And a careless turnover now from Quebec takes it away. And that is Sellers in transition. Gives it to Briggs. And Briggs misses the three. Evans with the rebound. Hansen trying to push the ball now. Doesn't want to get pressed like they've been getting before. Hansen gives it to Felia. Helia's at the top. And another turnover by Felia, and that is now Brown Turner in transition, and she makes an easy layup down there.
Well, Felia just kind of telegraphs that pass.
Yeah.
Stares down the swing at the top of the key, and just a really easy read from Brown Turner to just pick that pocket.
Yeah. Hansen now gives the ball up to Woodson, and Hobbs with a Euro step and is unable to capitalize on an open layup. Woodson tries to get the offensive, but unable to do so. And now a turnover on the other end by the Terrapins as they were trying to really push in transition. So it'll be Wolverine ball. And we have some substitutions here. Elisa Brett will come in for Jordan Hobbs. And we'll see if Alyssa Brett can give Michigan an edge right now. As also Layla Felia steps off the court. And they still only have 4 on the court. Right? Oh, no, someone's...
Elise Stuck.
Elise Stuck is in. This is the first minutes for Elise Stuck this game. And she immediately puts the ball up, and she is charged for an offensive foul as Quebec perfectly squares up and takes a charge.
That's the right idea from Stuck. Come in.
Immediately make an impact. You like to see that. You like to see that.
Right. On the drive, be aggressive, not be timid, and Wolverines need fresh legs. This
they do need fresh legs.
Has tired out the guards that are the life of this team for the Wolverines.
Yeah. Sellers being guarded by Woodson now. Gives it up to Brown Turner. Now Sellers is fouled by Elise Stuck. And that will be an on-the-ground foul. So now your Wolverines will have 3 fouls in this quarter while Maryland is going to have 0 fouls. It is 25-20. Wolverines leading. Maryland leading, my apologies. And 7 minutes and 17 seconds left in the second quarter. Inbounding it to Sellers. Woodson playing very aggressive defense, trying to get a steal, and now switches off to Stuck. Sellers against Stuck. Sellers tries to put up a layup and does so successfully.
That's Cheyenne Sellers' first points of the game on the nice lefty layup.
Wolverines now try to get inside the paint, and Stuck has it at the free throw line. Gives it to Brett, and Brett turns it over to Quebec. Quebec in transition now gives it to Sellers. Sellers passes it right back into Brown Turner. Sellers back out, pump fakes, gives it, penetrates, gives it to Brown Turner. Now Quebec has a ball. And a great pass from Quebec to Sellers, who Sellers converts on the left to layup again. That is 4 straight points for Sellers. Hansen trying to penetrate, gives it, and she travels right back down there once she got double teamed and tried to give it back out to Evans. 29-20, the game's escaping the Wolverines a little bit. What do you want to see from the Wolverines now to really turn this game around and try to make something out of what's been a pretty unsuccessful game on the offensive side?
I want to see a timeout from Coach Barnes-Arico. I mean, you got to stop the bleeding at this point. There's sloppy play after sloppy play for the Wolverines, whether you're letting Sellers cut right across your face inside for 2 easy buckets, or you're just traveling, making silly mistakes on the offensive end of the court. I think your players are tired. You need to settle them down and get them back in this game.
Absolutely. And Brown Turner tries to get into Masaunas, but Masaunas gets the ball tipped away from Brett. So now the Maryland will be inbounding it from their own baseline. Yeah. Brown Turner has it in the corner. Gives it to Masaunas. Now the ball goes to Briggs. Back to Brown Turner. 5 seconds left in the shot clock. She's getting double teamed. Now Quebec has the ball at the top. She has 2 seconds to shoot. Briggs now, and they will not be able to get a shot off. 30-second violation. And the Wolverines right now have 5 turnovers in the last 3 minutes and 7 seconds, and they're also on a scoring drought. So we'll see if this offensive possession, they can change something about that. Hansen gives the ball up to Brett. Brett gives it up to Evans. Now Felia has the ball. She wants to shoot. Brett in the corner, getting double teamed, gives it back to Evans at the free throw line. She tries to put a shot up and is denied by Quebec, and Michigan will retain possession.
Nice play from Quebec to just get a hand on that ball prevent Kyra Evans from being able to gather and put that ball up for the easy layup. We've seen her make one of those today.
Yeah. Wolverines on the inbound. Brett gives it into Hobbs, and Hobbs is fouled down low. That'll be on the ground foul by Brown Turner. Brown Turner has 13 points. She leads all scorers, and she is leading Maryland in every category. She has 13 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Brett back to inbound. It gives to Hansen. Hansen gets a screen by Evans, and she's able to get a beautiful opening to make an easy layup.
Beautiful jab step from Hansen. Rips through and attacks the basket.
That's exactly what you want to see, and that ends the scoring drought for the Wolverines. Now Sellers has the ball in the corner, guarded by Felia. Tight defense by the Wolverines. She puts up a shot, hoping for foul, and does not get called for a foul. So now the Wolverines in transition. Hobbs has the ball, gives it to Hansen. Hansen likes the shot, jab steps, does not take it, penetrates, and is blocked by Briggs on the other end. That was a nice block by Briggs.
But a good move from Hansen still, showing off that elusiveness, that quickness that you want in your point guard. You know, when the offense isn't going, try to do it yourself.
Yep.
Try to probe the ball inside, and you know, even though it resulted in a turnover, that I don't consider that a sloppy play.
Coach KBA seems to like that. She does not mind it. And Sellers now bringing the ball up. It is 22-29, Maryland leading with 5 minutes left in the second quarter. Now Briggs has the ball, guarded by Hansen. Felia guarding Sellers. Sellers now kicks it back down to Quebec. Quebec gives it to Briggs. Briggs puts up a little corner jump shot and is unable to connect, but Quebec gets an offensive rebound, and she gives it back out to Briggs. Now that goes to Alexander. Brown Turner has the ball. Now they give it back down to Quebec. Quebec is guarded by Evans, double teamed, and she gets fouled on the layup.
It's a tough offensive rebound to allow Quebec to get, but she's making the right play offensively. She's cutting to try to give her teammate an open pass, and just happens to be at the right place at the right time under that hoop. Not really a big box out issue for Brett, just kind of loses her man there to the cut.
Yeah, and Maryland is now in the bonus. They now will shoot free throws whenever they get fouled, while Maryland has only committed 1 foul against the Wolverines. A really significant part about today's game is that each team at this point has 9 turnovers already. 9 turnovers from each team. That is unusual. You would hope as a coach that you would only have 9 turnovers in the whole game, and they have 9 turnovers still in the second quarter with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. So talking on the Wolverine standpoint, how can they limit turnovers?
You know, Maryland's done a great job of throwing different looks at them. First it was the press. Then they went back into the zone, then pressed again. And now the Wolverine guards are trying to get the ball so fast up the court that they don't really trust themselves to make a pass. They're trying to get to the hoop, which is a good idea, but there's still this sense of a rushed approach on offense. And, you know, frankly, Maryland's just winning the coaching battle at this point in the game.
Let me tell you, I think halftime is going to be crucial for this game. I think the adjustments that each coach makes will decide who wins this game, because Michigan has been able to keep it close. It's 22-29, and whichever coach makes a better adjustments and adjusts better to the pressure that each team is putting on the defensive end, I think will come out victorious today.
Absolutely. And what I'd like to see them do is, you know, have 3 on their side of the court, bring the ball up, you know, break that press easy early. And then, you know, even if it takes 5-7 seconds to get the ball up the court, that's fine. Then go into your offense. Let's see maybe Cam Williams come back into the game, get a dump inside to her, maybe Laker cuts around. Just trying to make those entry passes into the low block and see if your bigs for the Wolverines can take some of the pressure off the guards like Falia, Hansen, to make plays happen by themselves.
Absolutely, and the immediate timeout is just ending, and I think Maryland will be shooting free throws, right? They'll be shooting 2 free throws right now.
Yes.
And that'll be Quebec shooting the free throws, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see if she's able to convert on the free throws, and we'll see if Michigan is able to kind of light a spark up on this offense with still 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. And I think these 4 minutes really are crucial for this game. Let's not let them let the game get away from them.
Yeah, if you're looking at 12, 13-point deficit when you go into the second half, that feels a lot more insurmountable than maybe you cut this lead down to 5 or 6.
Absolutely. And Quebec is able to make the first free throw. And she makes the second free throw too. Now the Wolverines make some substitutions also. And that will be
Alyssa Crockett checking.
number 20, Alyssa Crockett. She'll be seeing her first minutes of the night too here. She gets the ball in transition. And Hansen has played a majority of the minutes today along with Layla Filia. Crockett gets it in the corner, gives it up to Hansen at the block M. Wants to give it to Brett, is able to give it to Brett. Now Filia has the ball. Filia's trying to move it around. It gets it to Crockett in the perimeter. Now Evans has the ball at the baseline. Filia has it. Filia will put up a 3 with 3 seconds left and is unable to convert. Maryland gets the rebound, and now they're going to be pushing the ball with Sellers moving it in transition. She's guarded by Crockett. A 3 now from Alexander, and Alexander nails his 3. It is now 34-22 Maryland with 3 minutes 45 seconds left. Crockett has the ball. Filia in the corner now, getting double teamed, is able to escape it. Gets it to Crockett. Now Hansen has the ball. Evans puts up a little free throw jumper and hits the back iron, unable to convert. Sellers with the rebound. Maryland in transition. Gets it to Alexander. Wants to get it down low. Is able to get it down low to Quebec. Quebec can get a double team. And an offensive foul is called against Quebec. Elisa Brett is able to get in perfect position and draw that charge. And Quebec has a dominance on the floor. She is really able to really dominate on her own will.
Yeah, she absolutely is. And I think, you know, she's moving. She's got some size down there in the low block. And Michigan's so worried about containing, whether that's Brown Turner or Alexander, who shoots at a 40% clip from beyond the arc. You've got to worry about Quebec asserting her will in the low post.
And I guess this is just a little bit proving a little bit, and we'll talk about this a little bit more in the halftime break, but just the tournament teams that these two teams are. Maryland, it seems right now to be a much more complete team than what the Wolverines seem to be. And we'll see if which one is able to be more victorious in the March NCAA tournament for them.
Well, this Michigan team, you know, Kim Barnes-Arico has said the grittiest team in the country. Many times they are the best defensive team in the Big Ten.
That is true.
As of now, even though they might not look it tonight. And they're 8-1 in the Crisler Center. So this will be, I believe, their only second loss, at least against a Big Ten opponent in this stadium this season, if they lose this game.
Wolverines bring the ball up. Brett gives it to Filia. Filia, careless turnover down to Sellers. Sellers in transition now. It's going to be a 2-on-3, and she is able to make an easy layup with barely any contest. Sellers now will have 6 points after she had a very quiet first quarter. Hansen gets it to Taylor Woodson. Woodson now to Hansen. Brett gets it at the top, gets it to Woodson down low. Beautiful pass to Evans, and Evans converts on an easy layup.
That's what you want to do. That's how you settle in. Make that entry pass, cut around it, finish the layup.
Absolutely. And now Fisher gets a ball, and another charge against Maryland. And that is now 2 charges in the last minute drawn by the Wolverines, and those are huge as they try to now really shift the momentum here, as it's now they're down 12 with 2 minutes and 27 seconds left to go. I think it would be great if the Wolverines can just cut it down to an 8-point lead, right? If they can just get it down to 8 points, score another 4 points before they can get anything else.
Right, for confidence sake, and that way you can kind of reset in the second half, try to play a new game, if you will, versus playing frantic if you're down 15.
Absolutely. Feely gets it to Brett. Now Brett gets a pass, and the pass is stolen by Maryland. And that was Williams with the turnover on the Wolverines end. And now Quebec is down low, dishes down to Brown Turner. There's 4 bodies down in the paint. And a wide open 3 by number 5 Alexander, and she drains that 3. 39-24, Maryland leading the Wolverines. Hansen now in almost panic mode, bringing the ball up. Gives it up to Evans quickly. Now gets it to Brett. Brett gets it to Williams. Williams puts up a little hook shot and converts on that hook shot.
That's
Those
the
are her
shot you want.
Absolutely. Those are her first points of the night, and we'll see if she gets an increased role now with Quebec being such a dominant force.
You know, I'm noticing Williams wearing that knee brace. I'm not sure if that's regular, if there's something limiting her tonight, but you'd like to see her get more minutes as Masonis just smokes the left-handed layup.
Yeah.
Lucky break for Michigan. Failure takes it the other way.
A little Euro
And
step
gets
and
it to
converts
go.
off the glass. That is a tough shot by Filio, with ones that she has not been making too much tonight, but we're glad to see her converting them now. Now Briggs at the other end, Brett on the floor after taking a little push, and she converts a wide open jumper. Hansen trying to make something out of this last minute of the half. Gets it to Evans. Now Brett has the ball. And another careless turnover by Brett. Now Sellers has the ball for the Maryland. And a deep three shot by Brown Turner.
They just left her alone, and Sellers gets a wide open layup.
Now wide open layup by Maryland. We're seeing some sloppy play right here as it is 28-43 now.
Michigan looks like they've given up, and the first half isn't even over yet.
Absolutely.
You were right. These last few minutes or so are make or break, and it looks like Michigan is breaking.
We'll see if anything else can happen. Evans shoots a three, and she's able to convert on a three. And that is her first three of the game that she converts. She's usually not a three-point shooter, but she made the shot.
When you have Kyra Evans spotting up from the top of the key, you know you've got some problems offensively. She shoots 22% on the year as they just leave Brown Turner alone, and she cans
and
it.
Brown Turner
Why
makes
not?
a buzzer beater three after wide open. Brown Turner now is leading all scorers with 16 points. She is 7 for 8 from the field, 2 for 3 from the three-point. And let's talk a little bit about stats. So it is Maryland 46, Michigan 31. On the Maryland side, like I just said, Brown Turner has 16 points. Sellers leading the rebounding with 3, and Brown Turner has 4 assists. Now on the Wolverines side, unexpectedly, Kyra Evans is leading in points. She has 10 points. She is 3 from 6 from the field, and I made that one 3-point, and she is 3 for 4 from the free throw line. Kyra Evans is also leading on the rebounds, and on the assists, it's Lauren Hansen leading with 2. So let's talk a little bit about if you were Coach KB on the Wolverines, what would you do coming out of this half to really shift the momentum, being down 15 points?
Well, you have a difficult conundrum because your players are playing frantic. So you got to settle them down at the half first. But at the same time, you have to establish that you need to play with urgency. But there's a difference between playing with urgency and playing rushed. So, for example, Wolverines made a lot of careless turnovers trying to force that pass to the inside. It's the right pass, but you have to wait for it to develop. Take your time, allow your post player to establish position, and then make the pass, cut around it. It worked a couple of times. We saw it with Cam Williams and Kyra Evans. I think you have to be ready for Maryland to bring back that press, but I think it's safe to assume with this nice 15-point cushion that they won't.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think what really hurt them at the beginning of this game was the press. It made them cause way too many turnovers. Just going back to the stat sheet, Wolverines have 12 turnovers. And just a quick stat for you, when the Wolverines are average... Sorry, I just lost it right here. I just had it. But the Wolverines play a much better game when they're averaging less than 15 turnovers a game. Here, when they commit less than 15 turnovers, they are 5-3, and then when they commit 15 or more turnovers, they are 8-3. But also, when they force 15 or more turnovers, they are 12-3. So with Maryland having also already 11 turnovers, we'll see if they're able to, I guess, make Maryland convert more turnovers than they're converting now, because these transition buckets are going to be huge to cutting down this chunky 15-point deficit that they're facing coming into the second half.
And you're absolutely right. It's not only those 11 turnovers, 12 turnovers, excuse me, but it's the 21 points that Maryland has. That's a huge chunk. Oh, like around 40%, if not more, of their points coming off turnovers from Michigan. They're not even, letting Maryland doesn't even have to get into their offensive set half the time to score. And that's a huge problem defensively, especially when your bread and butter, as you mentioned, Meyer, is playing defense, forcing those turnovers, and just being the team that makes fewer mistakes. Now you have an uphill battle. And if I'm Kim Barnes-Arico, I'm telling my team, play with confidence. Play your game. Settle down. You have nothing to lose.
Absolutely. And Michigan, since the first quarter and moving to the second quarter, they have shot better from the field than they were. They are now shooting 45.8%, which is a pretty good shooting percentage for this Wolverines team. But Maryland is shooting almost lights out from the field. They are shooting 63.3% and shooting 50% from the three, which, if they continue those numbers, it will be hard to stop them in the second half.
Right, and it's, they wise by Rutgers, which is, again, an 0-8 Big Ten team, last in the Big Ten. But they managed to win because of the defense and because of those turnovers. Rutgers made a run, a 10-2 run in the last 4:24 to play.
That was a scary little run right there.
Right, and it was only broken by a Lauren Hansen three. And we said if they play a similar brand of basketball where they're having trouble on offense, where not only is the three not dropping, they're not able to get the ball inside, it's going to be a really, really tough. This Michigan team is not built to come back and win games.
They're a defensive team.
Stay in it and grit their way out to victory.
Absolutely. And let's talk a little bit about the Big Ten play that's happening right now. You have the 5-seed team in the Big Ten and the 6-seed team in the Big Ten, right?
Yes.
Michigan right now, I'm pretty sure, is above Maryland. They are 4-3 conference play, and Maryland is also 4-3 in conference play. They just have a better all-time record. That's what's putting them above them. So, but interesting enough, I checked the standings this morning for the NCAA tournament, and Maryland is predicted to be the 9 seed, and Michigan is actually predicted to be the 16 seed team. They're predicted to be the last ones in. So I guess what has to change in this long series of Big Ten play in the second part of the season for Michigan to solidify their case to be in the tournament?
Well, I think you've got to – it's easy to say be more consistent offensively, but you have to start the game stronger. And if you want to play this brand of basketball where you kind of are in these low-scoring games and you fight them out, you can't make mistakes, and you can't make the mistakes early. And I think that kind of goes into just how you kind of practice and drill these games. With these tough teams, how are you playing defense? Are you moving 110% to the ball? Are you fully conditioned?
Absolutely.
Are you able to rotate 10 players in, potentially, if that's what you need to do to have fresh legs? And, we've seen Michigan put more players on the floor to try to account for that. There's really no right answer, but those little things will help them chip away at these teams that just have more offensive firepower than
Absolutely. They do. And let me tell you, being in the Big Ten, there's no such thing as an easy part of your schedule. They're coming up probably their hardest path of the schedule. Up until this point, they are right now 13-6, but they have a tough schedule coming up. They are playing teams like Michigan State. They're playing Penn State, Nebraska, which they already lost to by a nice amount. They're playing Rutgers again, which, who knows, that game next time could go any way, right? They're playing number 5 rated Iowa with star Caitlin Clark. Then they're playing Michigan State again. They're also playing again Ohio State, which they were actually able to beat, which was a surprise to a lot of people. So we'll see if they can also pull out another ranked team victory versus Ohio State or Iowa. But they have some tough opponents coming up. So I guess what they really need to do is, easier said than done, but beat the easy teams. Focus on the teams that you know you can beat and don't drop those games, and then hope to take, who knows, maybe the Nebraska game, trade a game with Nebraska since they lost to them, or maybe they'll be able to beat one game versus Michigan State. So I guess they still need to look at to really make a campaign, beat a lot of these teams that they're usually not able to beat far down the stretch with such a young team.
Yeah, I think this Michigan State game is huge. They're 3-4 in the Big Ten, right behind them. If Michigan does end up losing this game, they fall to 4-4 even. So if they lose to Michigan State, they fall below 500 in the Big Ten. You're probably dropping 3 to 4 spots at that point. If you're able to beat Michigan State, you keep yourself in pace, 4th or 5th in the Big Ten. You can go from there. But, the Wolverines have lost 3 out of their last 5. This is a team that is kind of reeling a little bit. They kind of know they have an identity, which is good.
It's a young team, though. That's the issue with them right now. They lost 3 very important players last season, so they're trying to find themselves again. And the good thing, obviously, every season counts. But I think next season will be way more successful than this season just because they're still building talent. Like we said, they're getting 2 star-studded freshmen next year. They're getting current players to really solidify themselves as leaders of this team and make an impact.
Yeah, and I think it also, the players like Layla Falia, like Lauren Hansen, Jordan Hobbs, those leaders from that guard position have to challenge their players to be the first ones to the ball. Dive on these jump balls. Really hustle, and it's a kind of an announcer's cliche for us in the booth. But you got to just go out and get it sometimes,
Absolutely.
especially the defensive end of the floor. Be that grittier team. And I think if you lead by example, you're doing that in practice. You're closing out hard to every, shot.
Yeah, and
Your
I
teammates
guess
see that.
Yeah, and I think what needs to change for the rest of the season is Littlefield needs to be more efficient because if we're looking at the box score, she's almost always a leading scorer, right? She is probably around half the games this season. She's been the leading scorer with 15, 17 plus points a game. And she's actually stellar in Big Ten play. She's averaging, I want to say,
18.8 points.
Yeah, 19 points per game in Big Ten play. And we're just not getting that out of her today, right now. Today, she only has 5 points, shooting 2 from 7 from the field. That's not something you want to see from who you're hoping to be your star player, the one that's really getting all your points, especially also when Hansen hasn't been able to really score as easily also.
And it's been a stellar coaching job. I can't say this enough. From head coach Brenda Frazee from the Maryland Terrapins. They're bringing 2 to the ball every time Falia gets the ball. They're denying the passes, so it's hard for her to outlet to some of those players on the wing that are with her. They're either making her make tough swing passes or getting the ball out of her hands quick. And Layla Falia is not an off-ball player. She can do it, but she thrives with the ball in her hands.
Absolutely. And with only 5 minutes left of halftime, we're going to hand it now back off to our next colleagues who will be covering the second half. But as for us, my name is Meyer Cusnir.
My name is Shai Dweck.
And we had an incredible time bringing this game to you guys. Its score right now is 46 Maryland to Michigan 31. And hopefully we'll still be here for the win, right? We have some faith in the Lady Wolverines, right?
Absolutely.
And this is us signing off. Thank you so much. And our colleagues will be on very soon to bring you the second half of this basketball game.
All right, we are about 5 minutes away from starting the second half. Michigan 31, Maryland 46. Here in some Big Ten college women's basketball live from Crisler Center. It'll be Matthew Levy alongside Joshua Brown. Josh, how you doing today? And before we get to you, I want to start with this. This is, not the best start for the Wolverines going forward. They struggled in this first half. This is the best defense coming into the game in the Big Ten, and their scoring defense averaged 60 points a game. But Maryland has 46. So they've come in here and put up a lot of points. And Michigan's going to have to fix the defense before fixing anything else right now, because letting up 46 points when you're averaging 60, not great. And we'll see how Michigan adjusts. Kim Barnes-Arico in the locker room. Can't wait to hear Josh's thoughts. And Josh, I'll bring you in here if you're ready.
Yeah, we're all ready to go now.
A disappointing half to say the least.
Certainly, yeah.
How does Michigan get back into this basketball game?
Yeah, well, I think it starts on the defensive end. Michigan came into this game with a lot of shooting woes, but made its last 4 field goals of the first half. But really a lot of defensive collapses at the end, and allowing any opponent to score 46 points in a half is not good. Maryland shot 19 of 30 from the field, 63%. That'll probably naturally come down in the second half. But Michigan needs to play much more stout defense. It seemed like a lot of Maryland's looks were open looks that they were getting. uncontested, bad switching on defense. Michigan defenders very confused, and a lot of that was led by, really strong effort by Maryland's offensive attack. And saw Brown-Turner for Maryland, Jakia Brown-Turner, Maryland, kind of lead that offensive attack with 16 points on 7 of 8 shooting. Maryland shot the 3 ball at a pretty good clip, 5 for 10, and ultimately, just played very efficiently offensively. Whereas Michigan, I think, struggled a little bit out of the gate. Felt a little lucky to be only down 6 at the end of the first quarter. But moving into the second quarter, it was just they struggled to kind of find their offensive groove, allow Maryland to go on a significant run. I think it was at least at one point a 13-2 run. Maryland at its largest lead of the game now, 46-31. But Michigan's really just needs to clamp down defensively, kind of limit those open looks. And I think from there, Michigan just needs to get Layla Filia going. 2 of 7 from the field. Michigan's leading scorer by far on the season. When you're shooting 2 of 7 from the field in a game where Michigan needs to pick up its scoring and offensive attack, it's certainly not ideal.
Is there a bright spot you see? Because to me, watching that, I thought Lauren Hansen played excellent. She was 3 for 3 from the field, 2 for 2 from 3. Is she the one maybe Michigan should rely on to get them back in this basketball game?
Yeah, well, I thought in the first quarter Michigan made a lot of timely threes to keep itself within striking distance, and Lauren Hansen and Kyra Evans were a significant part of that. Kyra Evans is Michigan's leading scorer and rebounder with 10 points and 4 boards. And I think those two who have the hot shooting hand are going to be critical if Michigan is going to try to come back. I think the first 4 minutes of the third quarter are going to be super important to see Michigan kind of eat into this lead and put a pressure on Maryland, or if Maryland will just kind of run away with this thing early on in the second half. But, the two guards for Maryland, Jakia Brown-Turner and Cheyenne Sellers, have been very dominant for the Terps and have led that offensive attack. And Sellers, efficient 4 or 5 shooting, 8 points, not double figures yet, but very close. But I think that efficiency from Maryland's top scorers has been what's propelled them to such a dominant first half.
And I think the other thing is, with such a quick team, Maryland was getting up and down in transition, and that was helped. The reason why they were getting in transition, Michigan had 12 turnovers in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, both teams played a little bit sloppy. Maryland shot the ball a lot better, but Maryland with 11 turnovers and Michigan with 12 turnovers, those are the stats that you see at the end of games, not at the end of first half.
Exactly.
If you average 12 turnovers a game, that's not good, but 12 turnovers at half, very sloppy. It felt like Michigan just wasn't able to get a lot of passes. Maryland was intercepting a lot of them, and I think that prevented Michigan from getting into a flow offensively. Maryland's hot shooting and wide open looks on the offensive end, really allowed them to find their rhythm. But Michigan, on that end, was just not good. When you're turning the ball over that much and struggling to shoot coming into the game, only scoring 56 points against Rutgers. I know they won, and it's tough to win on the road in the Big Ten. But when you're kind of trying to find your way offensively, those turnovers are certainly not going to help. But a lot of them are just sloppy passes, a couple offensive fouls here and there. But I think that's just something to monitor if Michigan can be much more clean to start the third quarter here at Crisler Center.
Michigan has prided itself. They're the number 1 Big Ten defense, number 1 Big Ten scoring defense. This is a team built on defense, and they have struggled in this first half. The only way to get back into this game is, you guessed it, defense. Here we go. Maryland, Michigan, second half Maryland up by 15 as Sellers starts with the basketball on the left side of the key. Feeds it inside. Kubak passing it, trying to go across in the paint, and a foul called. It should be, I think that's 2 shots.
Yeah, and I believe Quebec scored the first bucket of the game for Maryland on their opening possession and really kind of starting go inside out. So kind of leaning on that inside pressure. Karen Williams, not the best, center forward for Michigan, but I think they've kind of seen an area where they can attack and kind of pressure the guards and then ultimately get those open looks on the outside.
So Quebec makes her first. Misses the second. Rebound fought for and won by Maryland. How about McDaniel's hustle? She's been so good coming off that torn ACL. Now she lost it. Now a jump. But, Bree McDaniel, I was listening to her interview earlier today. She, torn ACL, coming back into the year. Cheyenne Sellers is the number 1 for Maryland. And she is slowly but surely taken over that number 1 role for the Terrapins.
Yeah, and in their last game against Illinois, she had 22 points, was their leading scorer, and a very solid effort. So she's finding her way. She, shoots 45.2% from 3, and she's been very, strong on that end and been leading Maryland throughout the season.
Hobbs took a three in the corner. That was blocked. Now Evans has it up top with, as the shot clock resets with an offensive rebound. Filia on the left corner feeds it inside. Evans, nice Euro step, doesn't go. Trying to go across the paint. Here comes Maryland the other way. Slow down. Brown Turner kicks it out. Here's a three. Doesn't go. Rebound Hobbs.
Yeah, good open look again for Maryland. That one didn't go by Alexander, but Michigan pushing up ahead on the other end with Hansen.
Yeah, that's a nice move. Hansen gets it to go for two, and the lead is cut to 14 once again.
And you were talking about her as one of those sparks that could help Michigan kind of climb back into this game, and there she is right there. 4 for 4 shooting, very efficient so far. Does have a couple turnovers for the Wolverines, Lauren Hansen, but overall a solid game from her. Just need those other players to really step up and contribute to, especially on the defensive end.
McDaniel goes across the paint, now feeds Alexander. Now on the right side, here's the move. Inside Brown Turner, nice little move, but good defense from Jordan Hobbs, and now Hobbs wants to run.
Good spin there but nice contest, and now Hobbs pushing at the other end.
Hobbs, cross, Hansen, left side, they feed it inside. Williams, Cameron Williams, and the foul. Nice move, a little hook, and Cameron Williams has a chance to cut this lead to 11.
Very nice hand on there for Cameron Williams, getting inside with a little hook shot. Missed a couple bunnies earlier in the first half, but gets that one to go, and that is important for Michigan. As I said, those first couple minutes are just going to be super important in defining how this half is going to play out. Whether Maryland's going to coast to win or Michigan's going to fight back and say something about it.
And Williams makes that effort to say something about it and cutting that lead to 11. Sellers will bring it up for the Terrapins. She's been terrific tonight. 8 points, 4 for 5 from the field. Top of the key, Brown Turner now feeds it to Quebec on the right side, just outside the paint. Now back on the right side is Alexander. Back up top to Briggs. Briggs with 10 to shoot. Briggs spin move into the lane, no, and a rebound to Hobbs. Hobbs looks to push. Hansen coming up the left side. Hansen trying to feed it to Williams inside, then gets it back out. Hobbs a three, doesn't go. She was open for a second as the ball was deflected into Hobbs' hands, and now we've got a whistle and a defensive rebounding foul against the Terrapins.
Yeah, it was a really nice spin move there by Briggs when she was going up for that shot, but ultimately didn't go. Spin move on Evans, or Hobbs, and got the rebound. Missed open three there. Michigan starting to get some better looks and find its offensive rhythm, and also clamp down on the defensive end.
Nice pass inside. Cameron Williams gets the look, misses the layup, gets the offensive rebound, misses that one.
Two missed bunnies there.
Then the ball is deflected, and now won by Briggs.
If Michigan's going to come back into this game, those shots by Cameron Williams have to go to cut that lead under double digits. But when you're playing from behind, you've got to make those higher percentage shots, and Cameron Williams on that end did not do it. So she can redeem herself on the defensive end.
Michigan doubles the screen. Nice pass inside. Quebec is fouled by Hobbs.
Yeah, and they drew Cameron Williams outside to the top of the key, which allowed a favorable matchup for Quebec there, and ultimately drew the foul there. Foul going against Jordan Hobbs, who's now at 3 fouls, 3 personal fouls for the game.
Quebec will head to the line for 2. First one is good. She's wearing a brace on that knee, I think coming off an injury for the Terrapins is Quebec. She tore her ACL to start the last year, actually. So she's still wearing that brace, has looked very effective tonight. And, hitting both those free throws. She has 5, but she's been all over the floor. Here's Evans trying to get it in to the lane to Williams, but it's turned over. Another Wolverine turnover.
Yeah, Michigan's had a lot of sloppy turnovers, especially on those entry passes to Cameron Williams.
Here's Quebec in transition. 3 doesn't go, and a rebound to Hansen. Hansen looks to push, feeds it up. Here's Filia into the lane. Jumper fading, doesn't go. Rebound fought for, and it will stay with the Wolverines. Going at it was Sellers and
Layla Filia
Evans.
is still down on the court, went down hard. Kim Martins-Arico immediately going out to see her, and she's down in a heap. This does not look good for Layla Filia, who's Michigan's best player.
The leading scorer, a Naismith watch list. She was 11 points away coming into today to get her 1,000th point in a Michigan uniform, the 31st Wolverine. She is currently at 5. And this does not look good. You could hear a pin drop as she attempts. So now she will make it up. It looks like it's her knee, and she can't put any pressure on it.
Very unfortunate to see. She's had such a big role of the past few years, bursting onto the scene as a true freshman for Michigan, now being helped off the court, but she's had such a big role and so many imprints on this Michigan basketball program over the last few years, and, has the chance now to be the kind of the leading contributor. She's being helped, looks like, back to the locker room, or back to the bench over there. This play will resume. Glad to see her get up okay, though. Now she's being attended to by the trainers.
We will keep you updated if we hear anything regarding Layla Filia. She has gone right on the sideline. She's being checked out by trainers, as Josh just said, but play will resume. How does Michigan respond after that? Hansen kicks it, corner 3. It's open. A 3 goes. How about Elisa Brett? Coming off the injury against Rutgers, she had 2 meaningful free throws that went down. She hits a big corner 3 to get Michigan's momentum going as Hansen's transition layup does not go, but then Brett was fouled going for the offensive rebound, so a little spark it feels like as the lead is down to 10.
Yeah, with someone as talented as Layla Feely out of the game now, you need that spark, and so far it's been Alyssa Brett with that nice open look 3 and then securing the offensive rebound off the Lauren Hansen miss and drawing a foul.
Hansen on the right side. She gets it into Evans. Evans, scoop layup, doesn't go. No touch there, and now out of bounds. And a foul against the Wolverines, a defensive foul. So it'll be Terrapin basketball.
Yeah.
5:58 to go in the third quarter. Michigan down 10. If you're just joining us, Layla Filia going out with an injury. She's still being checked out. We'll give you any update we can.
And I'd say overall, Michigan's really come out of the half aggressive. They haven't made a lot of their field goals. They're 1 out of their last 7. I think that's preventing them from going on an extended run here. But they have done a good job, especially defensively, try to trim this early deficit from 15 down
with
to 10.
Some good defense on Sellers as she was trying to attack. Now kicks it back up top to Sellers with 7 to shoot. Sellers gets the screen. Nice move. Working her way to the free throw line. Creates separation, and that's an offensive foul. How about that possession from Elisa Brett? That was terrific, and she has really given this Wolverine team a spark over the last couple minutes.
Amazing defense there by Elisa Brett. A little acting job, flailing her arms out to draw the foul, but it was definitely an offensive foul there committed by Sellers. So Michigan looks to get the ball up and find some instant offense here.
Brett, left side, it's Evans. Sellers came over for the double momentarily. Now Hobbs back across to Brett. Brett makes her move left side. Brett, layup, good. How about Alyssa Brett?
Off the window there. She's that spark that Michigan needs with Layla Feely out and still at the trainer's table. And now Michigan is starting to find its way back into the game.
And now a foul against Brett. Physical defense against Sellers. Maryland hasn't scored in about 2 minutes. Now we'll get a whistle on the floor, a timeout. Immediate timeout on the floor with 4:55 in this third quarter. Michigan trails by 8. They cut that lead down from 14 to start this second half.
Yeah, and it looks like Layla Feely, she's getting her foot or ankle taped somewhere around her lower leg. So good to see that, may not be the worst case scenario, not to speculate on anything, but doesn't seem like anything serious that they're immediately bringing her back to the locker room for. So we'll see if she does try to get back out there, but the health of her is most important for Michigan. This is a critical game. It's still early and we're in late January, but Michigan, according to ESPN bracketology, is kind of the last team in the field. They had that amazing win over Ohio State on December 30th, and they've really been kind of using that to kind of carry their NCAA tournament hopes. Win over a ranked opponent at home. Maryland is currently about a 9 seed, so if they're able to find their way in and get a win, this is definitely an important win to improve Michigan's net rating, looking at the NCAA tournament metrics. But the health of Feely is paramount here, Michigan's leading scorer. And I'd say the defense has really clamped up so far, Matt. Holding Maryland to just 3 points in the first 5 minutes of the half, and Maryland on a scoring drought of a little over 2 minutes. Michigan kind of sort into, you talk about Michigan's top-rated defense in the Big Ten. They're sort of grinding and clawing their way back in and playing much more fundamental Kim Martin-Zerbico basketball here.
Yeah, it really has been. And Michigan right now, trailing by 8, it's been impressive. And obviously we'll hear the status on Layla Ophelia, but assuming she doesn't go, this will be a test. It will be a test to see, I think we just discussed it and we both pointed it out. Alyssa Brett was the one, she only has 5 points, but it feels like she has given this Michigan team a little bit of a spark since Ophelia went out with that injury.
Well, all 5 of those points have came since Ophelia's been out and have been the only 5 points Michigan scored. Michigan outscoring Maryland 10-3 so far this half, and use that spark from Brett in place of Ophelia to kind of fill that void. And yeah, I think Michigan's got to keep up the intensity on the defensive end. Would certainly expect Maryland to make adjustments. Looking at a little foul trouble here, Jordan Hobbs with 3 personal fouls. That's definitely something to monitor on the Michigan end. And yeah, I think both teams have turned the ball. Maryland's had a couple costly turnovers. Sellers is up to 4 turnovers on the game for the Terps, and Bree McDaniel has 4 as well. And I think those have prevented the Terps from stretching their lead a little early in the second half. But I'd say Michigan has definitely been, clamping down the defensive end.
Sellers give and go to inbound. Brett on her. She's done a terrific job on Sellers here in the second half. Sellers controlling, now moving on the right side. Back up top. It's Briggs. Briggs makes a spin move. Contested 2, doesn't go. Great defense from the Wolverines. Hobbs will look to push. Hobbs running. Hobbs back in the post. Hobbs, nice pass outside of Brett. Back to Hobbs. Top of the key, and now that's going to be an offensive foul against Cameron Williams. She was trying to find position, but she hit a Maryland Terrapin player to the ground, so it'll be Maryland basketball.
Yeah, it looked like she hit Emily Fisher there, who is in the game now for the Terps. And, yeah, just sent her to the deck. And actually, correction, that was Kubak that she hit. And now Maryland with possession. Michigan felt like that was a really good opportunity to cut the lead to 2 possessions, and we'll see if they can get another chance.
Here's an open 3 in the corner that does not go from McDaniel. Rebound to Cameron Williams. Gets it over to Evans.
And those are the shots that were falling for the Terps in the first half that didn't go in the second half.
Evans almost lost it. Now kicks to the corner. It's Hobbs. 4-3, and the lead is down to 5.
Another wide open look from 3 for Hobbs, and now the deficit is down to 5. So a really solid effort defensively that's being rewarded by some open looks on the offensive end, and now we have a ball game.
Crowd's in it. Here's a wide open 3 from Quebec, and she answers.
And I believe she scored all the second half points for Maryland. They've really leaned on her this half, and that was a huge 3 to silence the crowd and stop Michigan's momentum and surge.
Hobbs falling, gets it to Brett. Now open is Evans. Evans attacks, then lost the ball. Now it is fought for between Hansen and McDaniel, and now punches thrown between McDaniel and Hansen.
I don't know if we ever got to full punches, but there was definitely a skirmish there. Definitely some tempers flaring and tensions are rising. We'll see what comes of this. Any technical fouls are assessed. But it does look like we're going to have a jump ball. I believe that was between Hansen and Bree McDaniel there. McDaniel's kind of sent to the end of Maryland's bench, not trying to create a larger fight, but we'll see what the officials decide to do here. Could be offsetting technicals. We'll see what happens.
But that was serious animosity that we just saw. Hansen and McDaniel both yelling at each other, as that was pretty much a clear jump ball that we see pretty much every game, where it's just a clear jump ball, they jump it up. Instead, tempers flared, and now both sides back to their benches as the refs discuss. 3:15 to go in this third quarter. Maryland leads 52-44, but it feels like there's more energy in this building right now, Josh. A run from Elisa Brett, offensively, defensively. Despite Ophelia being out, there's more energy. The crowd's more into it. This is good, it feels like. And now the tempers. What happens from here?
Yeah, well, we certainly have a game now. Michigan has kind of upped its intensity, upped its urgency, and you've seen that now. You had a little bit of a skirmish there between Hansen and McDaniel, but overall I'd say Michigan is definitely, after a lot of those defensive lapses that led to some wide open Maryland looks, there were a couple that have happened this half and some open looks for Maryland, but those haven't gone down like they did in the first half. And Michigan's been able to claw its way back in. Maryland with only 6 points in the half, and they've all come from Ali Kubek, who has had, all 6 points for the Terps. Michigan's had a little bit more of a balanced attack, but Alyssa Brett was kind of that spark that propelled Michigan, and that defensive intensity combined with those little runs. I think Michigan would still like to be doing more offensively to kind of fully eat into this lead. And I think, but overall much better effort, +7 to start the quarter.
But it feels like also, despite some scoring that's come for Michigan, as you just said, Josh, only 6 points allowed. Only 6 points. That's the Michigan defense we've seen for all Big Ten play. 6 points in this third quarter through 7 minutes. That's how they're going to stay in this game. It's got to be through their identity, which is defense, especially with your leading scorer out. And that's what really Alyssa Brett has brought. Her pressure, her intensity on Cheyenne Sellers, making her pass the basketball, get it to other players. She's not forcing the issue anymore. That's one of their top scorers, and it's put this Maryland offense. They're rushing shots. They're turning the ball over already, 13 turnovers in the game. That's good news if you're saying, all right, can we get to 65 if we're going to allow them to score maybe a couple buckets in the third remaining, and then hold them to about 10 or so points in the fourth?
Yeah, no, and I think one of the key defining statistics of this game is the points off turnovers and how Maryland's been able to capitalize off Michigan's 15 turnovers. Michigan only 10 points off Maryland's 13 turnovers, whereas Maryland 21 points off of 15 Michigan turnovers. And when Michigan's down 8, you see that 11-point difference, and that is the difference in the game, those ability to capitalize off each other's mistakes. Maryland still shooting over 50% from the field, but that has definitely come down from, I believe it was 63% at halftime. So struggling from the field, you would expect them to kind of, regress a little bit to the mean there and, start shooting a little bit better. But we'll see as the officials are still just finishing at the monitor. After maybe they're looking at some offsetting technicals here. They're bringing both coaches to center court here to assess these penalties.
So we will see, but it's sloppy, it's intense, it's Big Ten basketball in January.
And this game is super important for both of these teams. Maryland coming in. Both teams looking to improve their tournament position. Neither team safely in the field. And also in Big Ten play, both of these teams have 4-3 records. Maryland has long been one of those premier programs in the Big Ten for women's basketball. Not as highly rated this year, but still some solid players and still well within the tournament field. Whereas Michigan is squarely on the bubble, the last team in according to ESPN's bracketology, as I said earlier. And both teams, you can tell how much they are starting to want this.
As we wait, the referees have told both the coaches and the scorer's table, told the announcers as well.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see some offsetting technical fouls here, but we'll see what the officials announce. The scorer's table. It's like some applause from the Michigan end, so is there a possible ejection? Yeah, it looks like Bree McDaniel might be heading to the locker room, so it could be ejected from the game.
So Bree McDaniel gave a kiss to the Michigan marching band as she exited. She is the second leading scorer, and as we've discussed, she has been terrific for Maryland. And that is now we've basically got maybe each team's best player. So Lauren Hansen, as the PA announcer just reported, she's out as well. So Lauren Hansen will exit the game. So Michigan down arguably, and their top two leading scorers, their best two players, and Maryland now down one of their two best players.
Yeah, no. In terms of who the loss impacts more, I would say probably Michigan, given that they're already down Layla Felia and Bree McDaniel with 5 points. Hansen has been a very efficient 4 or 5 in the field.
We've got some news. Is Felia running out, and she's coming back into the game.
And that is a welcome sight to see for Michigan. Great to see that she is not only okay, but also back into the game and really willing to help and pull Michigan back. Shows the urgency and importance of this game for Michigan as they look to improve their NCAA tournament resume.
What a turn of events.
A lot of moving parts going on here midway through the third quarter here at Crisler Center between these two Big Ten teams in a critical matchup.
Sellers, open jumper, doesn't go, and there feels the energy back in this building as Michigan forces a stop. And Layla Filia, a scary injury. She was down for about a minute, but she is back in the game as she gets it. Going downhill, Filia spins, makes her move, and gets it to go. What a Euro step, and Layla Filia has cut the lead to 6.
The air is starting to feel different here in Crisler Center, and you can tell the intensity is up and the energy is up from the Michigan bench and the Michigan women's basketball team here. Filia back into the game and makes an instant impact.
Sellers, now she is banged up. I think she jammed her finger, it looked like. She is now on the ground.
It looks like the officials stopped play. They did not call a foul. That is not a sight you want to see with Sellers injured.
And now Sellers is out. So all of a sudden, when we thought Michigan's top 2 scorers were out, Filia comes back into the game, and now Sellers is hurt. What a wild.
Them through the rest of this game.
She's the leading scorer with 16 points as it's in the corner. Briggs, nice feed inside. Quebec, wide open layup for the Terrapins. An easy bucket to get the lead back up to 8.
They've really leaned on her to start the third quarter. Has all 8 points for Maryland.
Filia to Brett. Now inside to Woodson. She's been excellent defensively. Kicks it back out. Hobbs, stutter steps. Hobbs drawing contact. And that's going to be an offensive foul against Jordan Hobbs. She banged into a Maryland player trying to force contact.
Yeah, it seemed like a questionable call. It seemed like she was just trying to hop step to gain a little bit of separation to shoot. I personally think that would be a no call or a call against Maryland. Didn't see much of a push-off or anything that I thought would generate an offensive foul there.
So all of a sudden, momentum back with the Terrapins. They have a chance to get it to double digits, and Quebec does.
Michigan's really going to need to find an answer for Ali Quebec. All 10 points for Maryland so far in this third quarter. Going to need to find some way to stop her and make someone else beat the Wolverines. It's the lead back up to 10.
Williams, Filia, now Maryland in zone. Filia, left side, Brett, nice feed. Wow, that was a great pass, but blocked by Quebec. Now she gets it inside. Williams to a cutting Brett, now on the floor, and no extracurriculars after this jump ball. The ball will stay with the Wolverines as Brett was tied up. It was a great pass, but Cameron Williams got blocked.
And Jordan Hobbs now up to 4 fouls for Michigan, and that is a big loss. She just got sent to the bench. Not someone that you don't want to see miss time if you're Michigan trying to mount a comeback here.
She's been terrific.
Depending on how the game goes, she could be out for a while. There's an obvious travel there by Cameron Williams. And Michigan now up to 17 turnovers. That is a shocking number and was really kind of been their Achilles heel so far today.
Massiness will bring it up for the Terps. Left side is Briggs. Back up top and across to Brown Turner. Inside is Briggs working on Woodson. Briggs now pushes it out, now back inside. Nice spinning move by Fisher, and she beats Brett. The size, the physicality, and another easy layup to get the lead to 12 for the Terps.
Yeah, and Fisher there. Maryland's really been trying to go inside, to find good matchups there against Cameron Williams, and they've really been able to leverage that to grow this lead.
Brett, jumper, but she's fouled. Fisher got her on the arm, and Brett will go to the line for 2. So Michigan cut the lead to 8, but Maryland now on a 6-0 run to get that lead back up to 12. A wild sequence if you're just joining us. Layla Filia leaving the basketball game. Now she's back. Seems okay. She was down for a little bit. Trainers worked on her back in the game. The top 2 scorers right now for Maryland are out due to an ejection for one of them. There was an ejection with Michigan's second leading scorer, Lauren Hansen, with Maryland's second leading scorer, Bree McDaniel, as an offensive rebound, is won by the Wolverines after those free throws
This feels
missed.
like a must-score possession for Michigan. Missed a big opportunity with Maryland's top 2 scorers out of the game, and Maryland stretched the lead, went on a quick 6-0
Brett,
run.
open 3, yes! You called it, Josh. A must score, and Michigan cuts the lead to 8. To finish that thought, Sellers, she went out with a hand injury. Still no sign from her, but the lead is down to 8. 12 seconds to go in this third quarter. Brett.
Michigan needs a good defensive possession here, and they're getting it so far.
Brett on Briggs. Now the drive. Turner looking. Good defense. Felia. Now the force doesn't go, and Michigan down 8, heading into the fourth. Energy back in the building. After a up and down first half from the Wolverines, they fight back. They bounce back in a wild third quarter. Michigan 50, Maryland 58. We will wait for the start of the fourth quarter. But a lot to unpack right there, Josh.
Certainly, and it's anyone's game with Maryland's top 2 scorers, Shai and Sellers, and Bree McDaniel out of the game, and Jordan Hobbs out of the game for Michigan, but Layla Feely back in the game. Those ejections have really kind of thrown a wrench into everything and made this maybe a little more complicated for Maryland. And I think it was very important for Michigan to capitalize there and hit that 3 at the end of the third quarter to go with the momentum and be well within striking distance.
And this crowd, largely silent and distraught in that first half. T-shirt toss is going right now, and everyone is up. And that's really what this game has turned into. It's been wild. It's been crazy. And now a chance for Michigan to really get a big-time win, because this right now, as Josh, you mentioned, this is a huge game. Both teams 4-3 in the Big Ten. Right now, Maryland inside the bracket, the NCAA tournament bracket, while Michigan is outside for the moment. That could change on this game. It was always going to be a big one. 2 of the middle teams in the Big Ten Conference. But it's been a fun one. Third quarter has upped the ante as Mr. Brightside plays from Crisler Center.
Exactly, and Michigan has another tough test going on the road to the Breslin Center on Saturday at Michigan State, who has looked a little bit better this year than they have in previous years. Speaking to just how deep the Big Ten is, anytime you have to go on the road in the Big Ten, it's tough. So for Maryland, if you can kind of come out and steal and come away with this win, that's huge, boosting their tournament chances maybe to the upper 9, 8 range. They're kind of looking at that for overall tournament position. But if you're Michigan, this is a win to kind of stay in the field. If you can notch this win, that'll not only keep them in the tournament field on the bubble, but boost their resume. It's still early and there's plenty of basketball left, but this feels like a game Michigan needs to get to add on to their resume with after that home win against Ohio State on December 30th, rather. Just building that NCAA tournament resume with a win over a quality Maryland team.
And, as we're about to start, is there, obviously it's Layla Filia's team, and she's got to be the one. But is there a secondary player that you're looking forward to really, propel this team, maybe offensively, as Layla Filia handles so much defensive duty as well? Who's that offensive juggernaut player that's going to really assist number 5?
Well, we saw Alyssa Brett kind of be that, little spark there earlier in the third quarter. But I think Kyra Evans needs to be a little more efficient in the fourth quarter if Michigan's going to come back in this game. 3 of 8 from the field. You have Jordan Hobbs in foul trouble, and that's a big potential loss for Michigan. So it's going to need to be some more efficient shooting, better shots. And I think if Michigan can do that, they can get right back into this game. A stop and score makes this a 2-possession game.
Good news for Maryland. Sellers back into the game. Winston was guarding her. Now she makes her move. Sellers inside. Now ball deflected and won by the Wolverines. Brett gets it out to Filia. She's got numbers. Filia to the lane. Gets it to go. And the lead's cut to 6.
Excellent transition offense there by Michigan, allowing Filia to get a nice lay-in. And Michigan back on defense.
Stuck on Briggs on the left side of the paint. Oh, that was a bad pass. Brett almost got it. Briggs got it back, and now calling for help. Sellers with Woodson on her. She's been an excellent defensive piece for the Wolverines. Brett on Sellers. Sellers now makes her move. Doesn't go, and a foul called on the floor against the Wolverines.
Yeah, a lot of bodies kind of going everywhere. This is physical Big Ten basketball.
Brown Turner went to the deck.
Yeah,
and
I
that
believe
was
this foul
the
will go
call.
on Elise Stuck, who's now in the game, and that is her 3rd personal foul. So a couple Wolverines now in foul trouble.
Sellers trying to force a fast, turned it over. Brett got the steal. Now gets it on the left side. Filia slows things down for the moment. Filia attacks right side, forces up a layup, doesn't go. Rebound, fought for, and won! It's Kyra Evans for 2, and the lead is cut to 4. Timeout Terps.
excellent rebound and put back there by Kyra Evans. And now this is the closest Michigan's been since their deficit. Since going down 15 and a half, they're climbing back in, and it's anyone's game, down 58-54. Now Crisler Center is starting to come alive here as they can feel the momentum shifting. Maryland struggling offensively in this second half. Other points have come from Quebec and Emily Fisher. 2 points for Fisher, I believe 10 for Quebec. They're going to need to integrate those, but also get some other guards involved.
It was 46-31 at half. Maryland was up. They averaged 23 points per game, obviously, points per quarter. They have 12 points in the third quarter and now in the opening minutes of the fourth. That's been the key. I mean, what a turnaround. Michigan defensively. We have Taylor Woodson on Sellers. We have Alyssa Brett doing stuff defensively, and that's really been the key. Look how many turnovers. 14 turnovers, despite Michigan having 17. The fact that Maryland has 14. I mean, a terrible pass. A terrible pass from Seller right there to try to force it inside. Brett read it all the way. And that, 12 points compared to 23, and now all of a sudden the game's down to 4.
Yeah, no, you have to credit the defensive adjustments for Michigan. Maryland's been able to get some stuff going inside, but from the perimeter, those open looks just haven't been there consistently, and I think they haven't been able to find a rhythm offensively, whereas Michigan has been able to kind of grind out some buckets a little bit, scrappy with some putbacks. It's not like their shooting percentage has gone up significantly in the second half, still hovering around 45%, was maybe around 43 at halftime, but I think it's just they've been able to get the rebounds and really clamp down defensively. But if they can get some of those more open looks to consistently fall, then they can quickly take the lead here.
They could. Michigan and Maryland both have 44 attempts from the field. Michigan has made 20, Maryland 23. The turnovers have been the main story. Michigan has dominated the glass, up 8 on the glass, including 11 offensive rebounds compared to 6 for Maryland. So Michigan's been doing it inside. Now, can they limit the turnovers? 17 turnovers already. And can the defense continue to dominate? And that'll be what determines this game. 8:42 to go. Crowd into it as we are just about to get this thing up and running once again. It'll be Maryland basketball as they called the timeout. A jump ball would go to the Wolverines if that were to happen once again, as Woodson immediately applies the pressure as Sellers breaks off of it with 20 on the shot clock. Great.
Woodson face guarding there.
Really aggressive D, and then a foul called. And Woodson, I think that was coming because the ref, she called that right away. I mean, any part, her hand really just touched her, and that was a clear foul according to the referee. So Maryland will inbound out of bounds and gets a wide open look to Briggs for 2. Michigan, a defensive lapse. And then now Stuck went over the line.
And they're going to call a turnover there. Just what the doctor ordered for the Terps. A nice inbounds play and a wide open look by Briggs to kind of start that offense going. And they call over the back line violation on Michigan's inbounds pass. Very sloppy there.
Wow, Stuck makes
allowing Maryland to get the ball back right away.
So Michigan's, as Sellers tries to draw. That was interesting as Michigan gets the rebound, but Sellers trying to draw a foul. Here's the transition. Brett for 3, missed all of it, and now it'll go back to the Terps, excuse me. But a wild sequence, Michigan shooting themselves in the foot all of a sudden, but it'll be Maryland basketball.
Yeah, a wild sequence for sure. Maryland up by 6 now with the ball. Sellers has been kind of all over the place.
And now an offensive foul against Maryland. The turnovers continue to pile as coming off a screen, Michigan draws the offensive foul. They'll get the basketball with 8:06 to go.
A combined 33 turnovers by both teams today, but Michigan has really been unable to capitalize off a lot of those Maryland turnovers. Let's see if they can here and get a bucket here to cut the lead to 3 or 4.
Mano y mano. Sellers guarding Felia. Felia attempts to get the screen now. Evans has it, top of the key, immediately doubled. Evans back outside is Woodson. Woodson doubled, kicks it out. Brett, open 3, no. Hit the front rim, rebound to Brown Turner, and she gets it to her star Sellers as things will slow. 7:30 to go. If you're just joining us, no Lauren Hansen, no McDaniel. the number two scorers for both teams, as a foul was drawn by the Terps. That was Brown Turner, the leading scorer, who's had 16 quiet. She hasn't scored in the second half, but she gets an opportunity to go back to the line for 2 as Maryland leads by 6.
Yeah, and that was Felia's first personal foul there, so no cause for concern. But Maryland is very close and inching closer to the bonus with 3 team fouls already for Michigan just into the quarter. So if they're shooting a lot of free throws, it's not going to be good in a winning formula for Michigan.
The first does not go from Brown Turner with 7:22 to go. So plenty of time for Michigan to mount a comeback. They've already gotten half, down 15 at half, as the second one goes.
That is Brown Turner's first
Stuck.
point of the half. After a 16-point first half, now just getting up to 17.
Stuck, make sure her feet are behind the line, and now Michigan will start their offensive possession. Woodson, Brett, back to Woodson, left side. Woodson now feeds it. Evans. Maryland back in that zone. Felia swings it across left side. Brett back out. Good defense by Sellers. Woodson with 2 on the shot clock. Woodson forces it up, and it doesn't go. So a shot clock violation on the Wolverines.
Yeah, and it looked like Evans there tried to get a little bit of shot to go. Woodson was trying to draw the foul, but kind of carried over to Evans just before the shot clock wound down, but the ball didn't hit the rim, so that is a shot clock violation.
6:40 to go. Maryland, patient. Now in the right corner is Briggs. Felia guarding her. Briggs spins in the paint. Turnaround. Tough fadeaway jumper goes. Lead back up to 9. So Maryland mounting a little bit of a run here. Here's the easy pass inside. Stuck, almost traveled, then spins and gets the lefty shot to go to cut the lead back down to 7.
A much-needed bucket there by Lee Stuck to keep Michigan within striking distance. Handcuffed a little bit by foul trouble in the absence of Lauren Hansen for the remainder of the game. Stuck is going to have to play a big role down low for Michigan to come back.
And no Hobbs, and that's an offensive foul. Sellers was driving right side, but Elise Stuck has come in here, and despite that dumb turnover, that lane violation, she has come in and made an impact defensively, filling in for Jordan Hobbs, who is out with 4 fouls currently, but a big turnover, a big offensive foul drawn by Elise Stuck, and Michigan will have the basketball under 6 to go, down 7.
But again, Michigan hasn't been able to capitalize off of those Maryland turnovers, just 12 points, whereas Maryland has 27 points off of Michigan's 19 turnovers.
Stuck, dribbling around the outside of the paint. Evans, left side. Here's Felia, makes her move, gets the screen. Felia finds a wide open Evans. Doesn't go. Rebound tipped up, and a foul against the Wolverines. A dumb foul on the defensive rebound. The foul goes against Alyssa Brett. And no bonus yet, so Maryland will inbound.
Yeah, the Terps will be shooting free throws on the next Michigan foul. There's a loose ball foul. Shooting foul, it's obviously 2 shots, but Maryland will be shooting free throws on the next Michigan foul.
Under 5:30 to go. Briggs gets the screen. Briggs gets the switch with Stuck on her. Sellers now on the left side, kicks it to Meneses. She kicks it out. Sellers lost it off her foot, and the ball is won by Layla Felia. Felia now a jump ball called right away, as the refs know they do not want another skirmish. And Felia arguing she had control of the ball.
Yeah, Ali
now
Kubek
is down. She gets up wobbly. And it'll be Michigan basketball, with this jump ball, so Michigan will have the basketball, so they force the turnover. Now Maryland up to 17 turnovers compared to Michigan's 19. So both teams in the high teens.
It's certainly been a turnover fest. 36 combined turnovers in any game is shocking, and we still have 5 minutes to go in the game, so who knows what's going to happen down the stretch. But Michigan needs to mount a run quick.
Here's Felia. Back up top. On the logo is Brett. Switches sides. Hobbs back in with 4 fouls. Hobbs guarded by Briggs, but momentarily as it's the 2-3 zone. Nice pass inside. Evans got a 2-on-1. Makes her move. Contact, no whistle. Evans is slow to get up. Now transition. Brown-Turner slows things down for a second. Now Brett falls to the ground. Chaos ensues. And a three does not go, and it'll go back to Michigan. Wow.
Bodies flying everywhere, but no, the refs let him play. And now Michigan will get the ball after a Maryland miss. Michigan fans certainly wanted a foul on the other end there on that missed shot there by Evans. But now Michigan will get the ball back. 4:32 left in the game. Feels like Michigan finally needs to cash in and cut this lead down to 5 or 4 points here.
Here we go.
Make it much more manageable.
Filia gets it to the Brett. Back right, left side. Stuck. Now Hobbs, and on the cut, Stuck is fouled. And so that will only be the third. So Michigan will inbound this foul with 4:21 to go. 20 on the shot clock right away. And that will be the 5th personal foul against Alexander. The 5th against Brene Alexander. So now she's out. She's had 6 points, 2 for 4 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3. So she's been that sharpshooter for the Terrapins. Again, Maryland dealing with injury, dealing with ejection. They are down to 6 players.
Yeah. No, and
in their rotation. So now,
Maryland, going to very, far down in their depth to Faith Masanias in the game. We'll have a media timeout here. 4:21 left in this game, and I think Michigan's defense has been remarkable the second half, holding Maryland to just 17 points. But, as the offensive struggles have persisted, even though they have been able to play some great defense. This lead only 7. It feels like this is a must-score possession coming up for Michigan.
Yeah, but if I'm Michigan, right there, I think there's plenty of time, right? With the lack of depth, right, for Maryland now 2 players from your rotation, your second leading scorer, and then a key part in that rotation, Alexander, they're both out. They're not coming back. So is it in Michigan's best interest, especially with the injuries before the game to Maryland's rotation, do they just push the ball? Because Maryland's legs, those 5-6 girls, they're going to get tired, and with 4:21, that's been your best buckets right now. In transition, Layla Filia driving the rim, Elisa Brett driving the rim, kicking it out, getting open threes. That's where they've gotten their offense.
Absolutely, and Michigan has had some good open looks from 3 this quarter, but they haven't gone down. A couple by Alyssa Brett or Kyra Evans that have missed would have been crucial to cut this deficit. Feels like Michigan needs a couple more of those to go down to really kind of fully slice back and make this a potential 1 or 2 possession game. But, with 4:21 left and Maryland's inability to score, but Michigan's ultimately got to make those misses count, and they haven't really been able to capitalize off of Maryland's sloppy play so far this quarter. And going back to those points off turnovers, Maryland 27 points off turnovers, Michigan just 12. So this inability to capitalize off those Maryland mistakes has been critical.
Yeah, and another area where I think Michigan can attack is those second chance points. They have 9 second chance points so far in this game. They're leading that offensive rebound category as well, 11-6. So even if you miss a shot, if they can get the offensive rebound, especially with some tired legs for the Terps, maybe that can convert a bucket. But right now the half-court offenses for both sides have really kind of stymied here in this second half. That's been the story, along with a turnover fest, as you've pointed out, Josh. So, Michigan down 7, 4:21 to go. Energy back in the building as this game was, we both thought, over. I mean, Michigan was down 15, looked lackluster, but they've come out in the second half, made it a game. Antics ensued on the court. Players went in and out. Now everything's settled in for here in this fourth quarter. Michigan down 7 with the basketball. With 20 on the shot clock. Here we go.
Michigan struggling to inbound here.
Yeah, they get it in, finally. Filia with 15 on the shot clock. Back up top to Hobbs. Filia, left side. Waits, now gets it to Evans. Evans makes her move. Layup is no good. Rebound tipped up and won by the Terps. Stuck tried to get it. She couldn't. And Maryland will slow things down. 4 to go. Time running out for the Wolverines. Could it be too little, too late? We'll find out. They need a stop here. Briggs now gets it inside. Ooh. Brett hit Quebec hard. Immediately helps her up, so no bad blood there.
Yeah, but that is
a clear foul, and Maryland will go to the line for 2.
Exactly, yeah, and that's not what you want to see for Michigan, giving those free throw opportunities to allow Maryland to stretch their lead. Michigan desperately needs some buckets, and allowing Maryland to stretch their lead any further is going to be critical, especially if Michigan can't get their offense hubbing and rolling immediately.
At the line for 2 is Quebec. Cameron Williams will check in for Elise Stuck. So it'll be Williams, Evans, Hobbs, Brett, Felia. Again, no Lauren Hansen for the Wolverines. Down 7. The first from Quebec goes. Lead now up to 8. A 3-possession game in Crisler Arena. The lead was at 15 at the end of the first half. Michigan climbed their way back to 6, but only 6. Now it's back up to 8, or 9, excuse me. Felia will control. 3:45 to go. It's do or die time for the Wolverines. Brett, nice pass inside to Evans. Evans, back up top. Hobbs, left side. Makes her move, stops her dribble. Back up to Brett. Brett, Evans, top of the free throw line. Evans forces it. Nice spin move and then gets it to go. That was a nice move. Little scoop layup to cut the lead to 7.
Yeah, very good job to kind of navigate the Maryland defense on Quebec there. But Michigan cutting the lead and needs some stops right now.
Into the post. Sellers gets the layup. No. Rebound. Yes. So she works her way, misses the first opportunity, but boxes out Brett for the second. And it will be a 9-point deficit from the Wolverines.
Maryland's starting to find their offense late in the game, and that could spell doom for Michigan if they want to come back and make this a game.
Brett swings it. Felia, open 3. No. Rebound. Oh, nice rebound from Cameron Williams. Now back up top. Hobbs a 3. No. Rebound. Fought for and won by Felia. Diving to the floor. Gets it back up. Hobbs, top of the key. Faked it. Now Evans a 3. Yes! Finally! Michigan down to 6.
Incredible hustling effort there by Felia to kind of get that offensive rebound. Michigan ultimately able to swing it to Evans. Now it's a 6-point game with under 2.5 to go.
Crowd on their feet. Meneses. Now offensive foul against Meneses. What a play to draw it by Jordan Hobbs. She's working with 4 fouls, but coming into the game makes an impact. The breakout junior. And now Michigan basketball, 2:16 to go. Plenty of time. Where are you going with this basketball right now, Josh?
I think you got to go to Layla Felia. Evans hit that huge 3, but I think Felia is ultimately that go-to person down the stretch that Michigan's going to need a lead on. Officials are looking at a review. Don't know exactly if they're reviewing, whether, they're trying to maybe elevate this to a flagrant, but we'll see what they're reviewing, whether it's a flop or something like that. Hobbs, very brave to draw that offensive foul there, playing with 4 fouls. She fouls out the game. That is very critical for Michigan as they're kind of showing a replay. Definitely looks like a little bit of an acting job, so we'll see kind of what the officials ultimately decide if this is a flop or an offensive foul. So, if they rule a flop, I believe that might mean Hobbs is out of the game. So not something you want to see for Michigan. And Maryland obviously in the bonus there.
So we will see on the call. But if it is Michigan's basketball, Maryland's been in a zone, largely for the second half in this 2-3 zone. And that's limited Layla Felia's opportunities. And that's why they've been going to Kyra Evans inside. So it might be Kyra Evans gets the ball, and if the defense collapses, then you can get it out to an open 3.
Exactly, yeah. Michigan has had a lot of good open looks for 3, and that one finally went for Evans. But I think Michigan's going to need to rely on some good ball movement and ultimately just to find an open shooter, potentially a 3 to cut it to a 3-point game if they do indeed get the ball back here. All 3 officials at the monitor looking at this here. See what they ultimately kind of rule.
We are still waiting as the fans are, the Michigan faithful that is here wants tech. Josh, you called for a flop. I don't know what's going to happen, but we will see momentarily. But if it's Michigan basketball, they trail by 6, 2:16 to go. Both teams now officially in the bonus. Michigan with 5 fouls, Maryland with 4. But in women's college basketball, it doesn't matter. It's 2 shots no matter what.
Exactly.
So let's see the call, and They're reporting the call right now. We will get word in just a minute.
Been a game with a lot of funky calls. You had the double ejections from Hansen and McDaniel, so we'll see what they rule here. Definitely some discussion. So they're ruling an intentional foul here, I believe, is what they called. And now you have Layla Feely going to line.
Yep, she'll take her free throws. Felia's first is good. The lead is cut to 5. What a big call. Felia's second goes.
Both rattle in, and Michigan will keep possession.
Wow.
A massive swing in this game where Maryland has the ball up 6. Now Michigan down 4 and has a chance to cut this to 2 or 1 points. So we are live here. This is very much a game. Feely dribbling the ball at the top of the key here.
Here we go. 2:11 to go. A wild swing. Michigan down 4. Feely controlling. Maryland back in that zone. Brett on the left side gets it inside to Evans. Now open. Hobbs for 3. Yes!
You can feel the roar of Crisler come alive as this is now a 1-point game, the closest Michigan's been since its 15-point halftime deficit. Open look there for Hobbs, great offensive ball movement, and one of those threes finally goes down, and there it is for Hobbs, playing with 4 fouls.
Here's the take. Inside, the move from Brown Turner doesn't go. Loose ball won by the Wolverines. 1:30 to go. Michigan trails by 1.
Brave defense by Hobbs on the other end, playing with 4 fouls, kept her hands up so she didn't draw that 5th. And now Michigan coming at the other end with a chance to take the lead.
Filia, right side, slows things down. Maryland in that zone. Timeout, Kim Barnes-Arico. Michigan has climbed, has roared their way back as they trail by 1 with 1:16 to go. There'll be 12 on the shot clock. But again, as I said, if they're in this zone, what's the play? Are you going back inside and then back out?
Well, when you're playing that kind of zone defense, especially a 2-3 zone that looked like Maryland was playing, the key with beating a 2-3 zone is you hit your outside shots. And that is what Michigan has done to climb its way back into the game. You obviously had kind of the interesting intentional foul call there on Masonius, but a 5-point possession for Michigan, and that stout defense is finally being rewarded with converting on the offensive end and getting those open looks and making them. You saw Hobbs back
Hobbs
on the other end.
Ridiculous.
Some very brave defense, defending deep inside, keeping those hands up with their 4 fouls. You obviously don't want to let Maryland shoot free throws, but and especially you don't want her to foul out of the game. So as this game kind of goes along with a minute 16, it's not only going to be important for her to keep splashing those open looks, but for her to avoid that 5th foul if we even sniff the possibility of overtime.
Filia struggling to inbound. Finally gets it into Kyra Evans. Evans now Sellers poked at it. Now back up to Filia. 6 on the shot clock. Filia, tough jumper, doesn't go. Loose ball, won by the Terrapins. That was a loose ball for a little bit. Briggs on the attack as she will draw the foul. It's an offensive foul. What a play. Jordan Hobbs, her impact on this game, coming in with 4 fouls defensively. It's unbelievable what she's done.
An amazing job there. Looks like Kim Barnes-Arico will use another one of her timeouts. Michigan will be down to 1 timeout remaining. This is a critical possession for Michigan. But again, brave defense by Jordan Hobbs, keeping those hands up, not doing anything to, allow the official to call a foul on her, especially when the opponent in Maryland is driving. Briggs there was the one who got called for the offensive foul driving, kind of probably extended that elbow a little too far, and now Michigan has the ball down 1 with less than a minute to go. Michigan on an 8-0 run over the last little over a minute and a half, and Maryland hasn't been able to get the ball in the cup. And those offensive fouls, little missed shots near the rim would have allowed Michigan to kind of stay afloat and get back into this game. This is a critical game with massive implications, not just for now, but for down the road as we get closer to selection day in the women's NCAA tournament.
Lot of things on the line, but Michigan, even if they fall short, what a comeback, what fight, what coaching to come out in the second half, down 15 points. You lose your star player momentarily. And then there's an ejection on the floor where your second best player leaves. But Michigan, despite all of that, has come back and made this a game. And a 5-point play. I mean, what a swing of events. An intentional foul leads Layla Filia 2 shots. And then right away, Michigan has the ball to keep possession. And then a wide open 3 in that 2-3 zone. Jordan Hobbs nails it. Her defense making such an impact. But that big 3 has made it a 1-point game. It'll be Michigan basketball. Full shot clock. We've got 59 seconds to go, though, inbound from the left side. Layla Filia will inbound.
Michigan struggling to get the ball in.
Camp Schroeder is in her first minutes of the second half. Interesting substitution from the Wolverines. Here's Filia forcing the issue. She's fouled. So Layla Filia has a chance to take the lead. Patient. Nice move. It's been few for her in this second half, especially in this fourth quarter. Maryland has done a great job on that 2-3, but she finally gets an opportunity to go to the line for 2 shots. In the game is Cameron Williams for Camp Schroeder, so maybe some offense-defense stuff from Barnes-Arico. Filia will go to the line for 2. 49.8 to go. First one, no.
Yeah, not a good miss there. Filia had made both of those free throws after the intentional foul. This is to tie the game.
Second one. Good. So we are tied at 67. 49 to go. Crowd on their feet. Michigan bench pumping them up. Sellers gets the screen. Doesn't use it. Brett guarding her. Sellers, offensive foul! Alyssa Brett.
And Michigan's ability to draw those offensive fouls has what's kept them in the game. The last 2 possessions for Maryland have been offensive fouls. Michigan excellent in drawing charges and does it there. 6.5 second differential between the shot and the game clock here. So Michigan going to be keen to kind of utilize every second here to prevent Maryland from getting another shot. Tie game. This is what you can ask for.
Let's go blue chants from the crowd. Kim Barnes-Arico will use her final timeout. The difference between the shot and game clock is 6 seconds. So Michigan can hold till 6 seconds. No timeouts remaining from Kim Barnes-Arico. Do you like that timeout right there?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. You want to drop your best stuff here. You got 1 possession to take the lead and potentially win the game here. No questions asked about using that last time out there.
Do you think, so now it's going to be a question, does Maryland go man or zone? If it's zone, what's been working is Kyra Evans inside, kick it back out. If it's man, it's got to go to Layla Filia.
I think absolutely. They've relied and leaned on Filia the last couple of possessions, but Michigan has been able to get some open looks for 3. But to take the lead, you just need 1 point. So I think if you have a good look inside, you absolutely take it. A 3 can obviously stretch the lead. I think it's just you take the first open look, and I wouldn't hold until as late as possible. You look for the best shot, and that's what you take. Maryland on its heels. Very poor offensive showing this half with only 21 points. Really kind of stagnated, especially in the fourth quarter. Haven't scored in the last 2 minutes and 39 seconds. Michigan on a 9-0 run here to tie this thing up.
I mean, McDaniel being out has forced Sellers to really take control, and she has struggled. 28 seconds. Here we go. Filia, top of the key. Looks like it's man to man. Filia, as the defense, Briggs trying to force her left. Here
5 seconds on the
right.
shot clock.
10 seconds on the shot clock. Here's the move. Filia inside. Contact, no whistle. Now it's won by Maryland. No timeout yet as they're trying to run up. And with 0 on the clock, poor clock management from Maryland, and that will end the fourth. I think Maryland was trying to run up to the sideline to get that timeout. They don't get it, so the clock runs out. A weird sequence, but contact was there maybe on that Filia layup. Doesn't go. No call. 67-67. We'll move into overtime.
Yeah, I mean, I think, probably a fine no call on the other end when Filia was trying to go for a layup. A good look, I'd say, all things considered. Shot clock was winding down, and to get to the rim to get a layup for the lead, I think was a very good look. But Maryland, very confusing on the other end. They had about 4 or 5 seconds. Probably should have called a timeout much sooner to draw something up. But miscommunication, and now we have overtime. Free basketball, 5 minutes. Maryland has 4 timeouts. They gained a timeout for overtime, and they didn't call any other timeouts towards the end of regulation. Michigan with just the one timeout. I think it was definitely the right call to go to Feely and kind of let her work ISO there, because especially you're trying to prioritize not, giving Maryland as much time. So I think not moving the ball around and letting Feely go to work ultimately got a good look and a look that you'll live with. And now 5 minutes of free basketball.
5 minutes of free basketball. Let's go through some stats before this free basketball period starts. Maryland 67, Michigan 67. Leading the way for the Wolverines is Kyra Evans. She has 17 points, 2 for 3 from 3, 6 for 14 from the field. She's been excellent in 36 minutes. Along in double digits, of course, Layla Filia with 12, Hobbs with 11 in the lineup right now. For Maryland, it's been balanced. Brown Turner was dominant with 16 points in that first half. She only has 1 point in the second half. Scoring in double digits, Briggs with 11, Sellers with 10, and Quebec with 12. Jump ball, Cameron Williams versus Allie Quebec.
And one thing to monitor now, Shai and Sellers, Maryland, not their leading scorer, but they're one of their best players on the year with 4 personal fouls. It's going to be something to monitor. And Jordan Hobbs still playing with those 4 fouls. So a couple key players on both sides in foul troubles. Michigan wins the opening tip of overtime.
We'll keep you updated with those foul calls, but right now no one out just yet for the Wolverines. Filia, top of the key. Maryland right back to this zone. Brett on the left side gets it to Evans. Evans on the left baseline, now feeds inside. Williams, open layup, gets it to go. And now Michigan's really figured out that zone.
Absolutely, and Karen Williams missed a couple bunnies earlier in regulation, but had a couple key ab ones, gets that one to go, and that is crucial for Michigan's momentum early in overtime to set the tone.
Briggs back to the left side. Here's Sellers going downhill. Sellers, tough shot, she's fouled.
Hard foul there. Sellers hits the deck hard, but we'll go to the line for 2 free throws. And that foul will go on Alyssa Brett. That's her 4th foul now, 4th personal foul. So now Michigan, 2 of their key guards in foul trouble, something to absolutely monitor here in overtime.
So Brett with 4, Hobbs with 4.
And Cameron Williams with 3 fouls as well.
At the line, Sellers. She's got a chance to tie it. 4:22 left in this overtime. First one doesn't go.
And that is a big miss. Sellers is 88% on the year from the free throw line, so a critical and surprising miss there early in overtime.
Second is good. 1 point lead for the Wolverines. Evans inbounds to Filia. 4:20 to go.
Both teams shooting 10 of 15 from the free throw line so far today.
Maryland still in that zone. Williams gets an easy look and gets it to go. Leads back up to 3.
Michigan leading on Cameron Williams so far in overtime. 4 points, 4 critical, absolutely got to have the points. It's really impressive to see Cameron Williams have that moment in overtime.
Sellers driving, offensive foul. Alyssa Brett drawing the offensive fouls against Sellers. And I got to talk about this. This zone, as I think Sellers is gone. Wow.
Wow, and that is 5. Shot. That is a massive swing and an offensive foul call because Alyssa Brett draws the foul. She's at 4 fouls, and now Shai and Sellers, Maryland's leading scorer on the year, is out of the game. So a massive swing here early in overtime. Michigan now with the ball up 3 as Filia brings the ball up.
I mean, now finally Maryland switches to man. What I was going to say about that zone, that hasn't worked. Now Brett, she's got an open lane as Maryland player overhelped, and then that doesn't go. Rebound, Evans, loose ball. It will be Michigan basketball. I think that might have went off of Kyra Evans, and then a Maryland player touched it as the ball was going out. So 3:40 to go. Michigan was 17 on the shot clock. Hobbs will inbound.
Yeah, it was a pretty easy lay-in by Evans. That was a miss, with Michigan lucky to retain possession here and get another opportunity.
Michigan leads by 3, 71-68. Filia controlling. 3:34 to go. On the left side, man on man. Gets the screen from Williams. Filia had some space, takes it inside. Fadeaway jumper, missed all of it. Rebound. Out to the Terps. Here's Brown Turner running. Into the lane. Brown Turner. Nice lefty layup. Leads down to 1. Brown Turner, terrific. She's up to 19. Leads down to 1.
And that's her first field goal since the first half. She had a 3, I believe, to end the first half, and since then, ice cold. But a layup there. Critical for Michigan, though. Hobbs playing defense there. Kept her hands up and did not draw that all-important 5th foul.
Here's Filia. Give and go. Felia into the lane, spinning, looking, gets it back up top to Hobbs. 6 on the shot clock. Hobbs, the drive, trying to force contact. It's a foul. I think it's on the floor, though.
Yeah, it'll be a blocking foul, so Hobbs avoids that 5th foul, and that foul will go against the Terps.
But it will be 2 shots as Michigan is in the bonus. Hobbs to the line, has a chance to extend this lead back up to 3. So now the top 2 Maryland scorers coming into the game, Sellers and McDaniel both out. So it feels like Maryland, the one player they're going to turn to is Brown Turner. First free throw is good.
And don't forget that Brene Alexander also fouled out of the game. So
3 starters.
Yeah, exactly. 3 of Maryland's 5 leading scorers. So really going to have to lean on two-woman game of Brown Turner and Ali Quebec, who was critical for Maryland in that 3rd quarter.
1 of 2 on the free throw line. Rebound fought for. And now Maryland, from their rotation from last game, they're only down to 5 players. Here's Brown Turner controlling things. Now back up top, Meneses.
Sonius there.
Sonius, excuse me, and now a foul called against Michigan, against Cameron Williams. So now a chance to tie at the free throw line.
Now Michigan with 3 players on the court with 4 fouls. So that is definitely something to monitor. Cameron Williams picked up her 4th there, and Maryland will be going to the free throw line here.
A chance to tie. Williams picks up her 4th, as Josh just said. So 3 players with 4 fouls. That is important. So the teams, both sides, are dwindling. First free throw is good. Leads down to 1.
Truly feels like a survival of the fittest. Just players in foul trouble, going in and out of the game. Injuries, ejections. Just going to be last team standing here.
Second is good. We are tied once again. 2:29 to go. Michigan had a lead to start this early overtime period. Now a timeout on the floor. I think Maryland, they have 4 remaining, so they can use as many timeouts, it feels like, as they want. But 72-72. Maryland doesn't have their top 2, ball creators right now on the floor. Layla Felia coming in. She's probably the best player on the floor right now. And that probably gives Michigan the advantage here with 2:29 in overtime.
Yeah, it looks like they're reviewing something. Don't know if they're looking for a lane violation or something of that nature. Refs with the whistle dead, and now they're having another official look at it. Kim Barnes-Enrico is clearly upset, so definitely looks like a call that could favor the Terps. Timeout by the officials as they're definitely looking at something here. But yeah, it's been an interesting start to overtime as let's see what they call. Doesn't seem like they're calling anything. So play will resume here at Crisler Center in a tie game in overtime with Michigan having possession. But yeah, I think it's how Maryland can find that offense to overcome the absences and how Michigan can kind of navigate their foul trouble with 3 players on the court with 4 fouls and the other 2, Kyra Evans and Layla Felia. Williams has had all 4 points for Michigan in overtime so far. So we'll see if Michigan can find any other sparks here in this 5-minute overtime period.
Hobbs to Evans. Maryland, since letting up those 4 points, has switched to man. That ball deflected and turned over. What a play by the Terps, and now a timeout. So forcing the turnover. Massoni has forced the turnover. Maryland sprints up the floor, then a timeout called by their coach, Brenda Fries.
Very sloppy turnover there by Michigan. Sonia's here with the steal. Kyra Evans, just sloppy passing, and that was what really plagued Michigan, especially in the first half with their turnovers. Now starting to reappear and spawn here in overtime. Maryland utilizing their timeouts here as they didn't use any at the end of regulation. So they're down to 3 timeouts. Michigan with just the 1, so going to have to use that very strategically.
2:13 to go in this overtime period. Maryland will have the basketball.
And Felia returning it.
Tie game.
Yeah, exactly. And Felia just 4 of 15 from the field, so not super efficient. I think 0-4 from 3. She's definitely their kind of key player. Kyra Evans has really stepped up today with 17 points, but I think Felia's going to have to hit a couple buckets in overtime. She's kind of so much injury walking. I don't know if she's fully 100%, but giving it her all out here for Michigan, coming off that injury that she suffered in the 3rd quarter.
Brown Turner will inbound from the right corner. Looking for someone, and she almost turned it over. Hobbs got her hands on it. but it will stay with the Terps. She deflected it out of bounds. Refs are discussing something, and I think Hobbs wants a review.
I thought it clearly went off Hobbs.
So did I.
I guess the officials see something to look at, and they're going to take a look to see who this ball went off of. Thought it pretty clearly went off Hobbs, but she pleaded her case to the officials, and now they're going to go to the monitor. You know how it is with these college rules and how, the last few minutes of these games can go with some controversial out-of-time calls.
But 2:12 to go, tie game. And, Maryland, they let up those 4 points in that zone coverage. Now that zone's gone, and Michigan hasn't scored. So the switch from the Maryland side has proven, to be big, and that has really led this comeback in overtime.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what you're looking at for Michigan is, how you can kind of maintain that defensive intensity with playing with those fouls. They were really able to kind of utilize being able to draw a lot of charges, but are those risks worth taking when you have so many players in foul trouble? So it's kind of that balancing act for Michigan as they're reviewing possession here. Seems like there is some, Hobbs has a case with how long they're taking a look at it for. Seems like they might be coming to a decision soon on who has this possession. It's definitely not clear-cut as it initially seemed. And we're watching the replay here.
I mean, I still see it. I can't see. We can't see it clearly, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
But
is there going to be an angle that will indisputably overturn it?
It still looked like it went off of Hobbs from what we can see. So we will wait on that ruling. But if Maryland has the ball, they will have 26 on the shot clock, plenty of time. But without their two top scorers, you mentioned this. Is it Quebec and Brown-Turner time for the Terps?
I think so, and those are the two kind of key offensive players. Briggs has had a strong impact for Maryland offensively. Lavender Briggs with 11 points on her end. But I think Shaquille Brown-Turner is going to have to be that key anchor piece offensively. The officials seem like they're ready to make a decision.
It'll stay Maryland ball. I agree. I didn't know what Hobbs was talking about. I think the ref went to Hobbs like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
it's clearly up on Maryland.
Yeah. I mean, they certainly took a few looks at it, but ultimately, I don't know if it was a lack of an angle or something like that, but ultimately Maryland will keep possession with a tie ball game here.
26 on the shot clock, 2:10 to go.
It's war of attrition here at Crisler Center.
Brown-Turner back out. Manciunas kicks it back out.
Shot clock starting to wind down here. Maryland.
With 7 on the shot clock. Brown-Turner kicks it. Corner 3. Briggs got it. Lavender Briggs has put Maryland on top by 3.
Yeah, and what looked like a stagnant offensive possession, you find that open shooter in Briggs who's been able to knock down those threes, and boom, Maryland's now up 3. Michigan struggling to find some offense.
How does Michigan respond? 0 points since the man has been put on. Filia with 7 on the shot clock. Back up top. Hobbs with 4. Hobbs, step back 3. Got it!
Unbelievable step back 3 there by Jordan Hobbs to tie this game up at 75. Clutch shot making on both sides as the shot clock's winding down, and now Maryland with possession looking to regain the lead as Crisler Center comes to its feet.
75 apiece, under a minute to go. Here's the take. Briggs inside, missed the layup. Rebound to Hobbs. Here come the Wolverines down the left side. Hobbs, layup. No. Rebound Williams, yes.
Cameron Williams continues to show up in overtime when it matters most, up into double figures as Michigan takes a lead with 45 seconds to go, 77-75. Just hustle, hard, and determination, getting that rebound there by Cameron Williams off a missed layup by Hobbs. That definitely should have gone in, but the second chance and second effort is what's propelled Michigan. 15 offensive rebounds compared to 7, and I think those hustle plays have really kind of showed the heart and determination of this Michigan team, and is what kept them afloat in this game.
So Lavender Briggs, let's go through this. Lavender Briggs, 3 on the shot clock, hits a wide open 3. You think Michigan hasn't scored a point in about 3 minutes. All of a sudden, a prayer a prayer. Jordan Hobbs with 4 fouls. She's been hustling defensively. Hit a big 3 to send this game to overtime, and then hits a ginormous step back 3, and then Michigan gets the ball back, an offensive rebound, and then Cameron Williams puts it up for 2. What a turn of events, and now Michigan with the leg up 2.
Exactly, and it was a really poor offensive possession that got bailed out by an incredible moon ball 3 by Hobbs to tie the game up, and then got the miss there by Briggs, the missed layup, and then that transition offense has been what's really fueling Michigan on the other end, generating the layup opportunity by Hobbs, and then ultimately the putback there by Cameron Williams, who's now up to 11 points, with 6 of those coming critically in overtime.
The foul rundown, we got to give it. Alyssa Brett, Jordan Hobbs, Cameron Williams, all with 4 fouls. No one for Maryland currently with 4 fouls, even though Fisher and Briggs have 3 apiece. That's what happens in overtime as time amounts. So,
Physical Big Ten basketball.
January Big Ten basketball. Sloppy as well. I mean, both teams have 20 turnovers. 20. Wow.
Michigan making a substitution, putting on Taylor Woodson on for defensive purposes, trying to limit Cameron Williams with playing with those 4 fouls. Going a little offense-defense here.
Masonius inbounds to Brown Turner. Brown Turner working on Woodson. Woodson in the game for her defense, but Brown Turner beats her. Game is tied. What a move from Brown Turner.
Yeah, no, really nice move. Going to Maryland, going to their best player on the floor, Jakia Brown Turner. Going to work there on Woodson. Obviously trying to put her on because of the foul trouble at Cameron Williams and not trying to have her draw her 5th foul, especially given her incredible contributions on the offensive end in overtime. But Woodson there just kind of got cooked a little bit there. And got to give the credit to Jakia Brown Turner there. Going to the rim, getting a high percentage look that went down. Now 3.8 second differential between the shot and the game clock. Cameron Williams now going to the score, is able to sub in. So look for her to be on offense here for Michigan.
So, yeah, Cameron Williams now, it looks like she's coming back in for Woodson, but Woodson's brought in for her defense, and she immediately, maybe it's, her tired legs or not just getting warmed up, she gets immediately beat by Brown Turner, who has now 21 points, 9 for 14 from the field. Impressive stuff in 44 minutes of play. She only has 1 personal foul. I mean, she was ice cold in really the second half altogether, but she's come alive since Sellers went out of the game.
Yeah, she's had 4 of Maryland's points in overtime. Both teams coming into this overtime, very kind of grit and grind type game, but Michigan with the ball here, a chance to take the lead. Maryland with those timeouts, still 2 timeouts. Michigan now out of timeouts, so going to have to get this ball in quick.
33.8. Michigan gets it into Woodson. So Woodson stays in the game for Cameron Williams, even though we thought Williams would come back in. She does not. 27 seconds to go on the game clock. 4-second difference between the shot and game clock. Here's Filia, top of the key.
And I think with that differential, you want to take a shot as late as possible.
Yep, I think they know that. So Hobbs, now back to Filia. Right side, Filia driving with her left hand, now kicks it out. Hobbs a 3. No, she forced it up on an offensive rebound. Now tipped up and a shot clock violation. The ball didn't hit the rim on the Hobbs 3, so that's why it's a shot clock violation. Maryland ball, 3.1 seconds to go. Timeout Terps.
Yeah, also Michigan didn't get a good shot. Feely kind of got trapped a little bit in the corner and had to kick it to Hobbs on a low percentage 3, kind of from the wing. Didn't go, and now Maryland with a chance to win this at the buzzer. Or else we could be seeing double overtime, double bonus basketball here at Crisler Center.
Double overtime, double bonus. I mean, Maryland as a team, I think besides the turnovers, besides the sloppiness of this game, you look at the field goal percentages versus the field goal attempts. Michigan has 10 more field goal attempts, yet trails in the field goal percentage department by 10. So it's been the offensive rebounds right now determining Michigan. 16 offensive rebounds versus Maryland 7. That's been another key tonight as well.
Yeah. No, Michigan's offensive rebounds would have allowed them to kind of stay in this game. But the points off turnovers have been what have propelled Maryland. So you kind of have those kind of conflicting factors going different ways. A combined 41 turnovers, been a little bit cleaner in overtime, limiting some of those offensive fouls, especially on Maryland's end. Michigan with 21 turnovers, Maryland with 20, so not the prettiest game by any stretch. But Maryland
will inbound.
Yeah, inbounding the ball, and they had the opportunity to advance the ball, so they're going to get a look here.
Here we go. 3.1 seconds to go. They'll inbound from the left side. Here's the lob up top. Nowhere, no one home. So Michigan will have the basketball. 3.1, no timeout. So Michigan cannot call a timeout. So they'll inbound from the same spot Maryland has with 3.1.
Yeah, no timeout to advance the ball, so this is going to be it for Michigan.
Here we go. Hobbs will inbound, it looks like. She's barking out signals. She gets it to Filia with 2. Filia to the lane! Blocking foul!
Layla Filia going to the line with 3/10 of a second. A bang-bang call. Filia trying to split the defense, and now she will go to the line to try to give Michigan the win. 3/10 of a second is probably not enough time for a catch and shoot if Maryland advances the ball.
Well, hold your horses there, Josh. We got to make this free throw. Can Layla Filia make one of these next 2 shots? What a play by her getting downhill. Here we go. And it goes. Michigan takes the lead with 3/10 of a second. Now, if Michigan, no matter what happens on the second free throw, Maryland has no time. How are they going to get a shot up?
Yeah, I don't even know if they'd have time to call timeout. If you're Filia, you probably do try to miss this, and then the clock winds, and that game ends right there. So we'll see if she does try to miss. I think that's probably the right call here with Maryland still with the timeout.
Here we go. Filia. Good. Timeout called by Maryland. So they'll get the ball. The ball advances. So Maryland will inbound. It looks like the ref is pointing to the left side of the floor. So Maryland will inbound from the far side of their bench. 3/10 of a second here. Is this a lob, or is there any chance of a catch and shoot?
I think you've got to go for the lob with 3/10 of a second. That's probably just right out of the amount of time for a catch and shoot. Very questionable decision, though.
I was just about to ask you.
Yeah, no, I really think Filia should have missed it. If she missed it, there's no time for Maryland to call a timeout. It's a live ball, and then the game ends right there. I think that's something that you practice, and I think she was clearly, based on how she was shooting it, trying to make it. So obviously, playing it a little bit safer. But if she just missed, the clock would have wound, and the game would have ended right there with a 78-77 win. Now Maryland with a small chance. I think the key for Michigan here is to protect the rim. I don't think they can get a shot off in 3/10 of a second unless it's a tip in at the rim. So we'll see what Maryland tries to conjure up here with just a few ticks.
3/10 of a second. Refs will not take a look at the time, as the free throw on the other end was 3/10 of a second, so there's no time to be added as the refs.
Yeah, or maybe they now are going to the monitor.
Maybe
just as you were
spoke
saying
too
that,
soon.
Matt.
I spoke too soon.
Yeah, exactly. So
so
they are going to see if there is any time left. Probably, I feel like they should have done that sooner. But again, I think just going back to Michigan still in a very strong position to win. But if Filia had missed that second free throw after making the first, I think you need to have that kind of foresight. If you miss the free throw, that's it. That's the game. Because by the time anyone gets the rebound, Maryland certainly won't be able to call the timeout. And by the time the ball's pinballing in general, you just tip it. That's it there. But Michigan going to have to make one last stand with 3/10 of a second. It's been a wild game here at Crisler, coming down to the final possession. And, yeah, I think just a very good idea. Going back to that inbounds play with Hobbs, she had it kind of just behind center court, got it into Filia despite Maryland defending the inbounds well, defending it up the court. Filia just went in and drove to the rim, tried to draw contact and get that.
So they do add back time. Sorry to cut you off there, Josh. They add 0.6, so there will be 0.6 seconds on the game clock.
So now there's a time
exactly.
for a catch and shoot if it's very quick. So Maryland is going to have the last answer here. And I think, again, that just adds to the importance of, wow, Filia really should have just tried to miss it and end the game right there. Plenty of time for a catch and shoot, and Maryland's going to inbound here with a chance to tie or potentially win on a deep three.
Completely agree with you. Completely agree. So here we go. 6/10 of a second to go. The lob up, the shot. No! It goes in and out. And Michigan is gonna win it. 79-77. Wow.
That was a great inbounds play by Maryland, and the shot rolled in and out of the rim. A great effort by Maryland there, but Michigan survives. A much-needed win for its NCAA tournament hopes. A quad one win probably at home against a very good Maryland team. Jakia Brown-Turner had the last word there on that missed shot, but what a game. back and forth. Michigan clawing its way, scrapping its way out of a 15-point deficit to find a way to win, and a much-needed win. And you can see the emotion and excitement from Coach Kim Barnes-Enrico and that Michigan team finding ways to win. Michigan will now head to the Breslin Center on Saturday at 12 p.m. with a chance to improve its Big Ten record, now 5-3 in Big Ten play. A massive swing game here in late January.
Look at Jordan Hobbs. As you just said, Josh, her emotions right now screaming into the camera, and Michigan will get it done 79-77, down 15 at half. Almost a fight ensues in the third quarter. Layla Filia's exits because of a apparent injury. She comes back in the game, fights her tail off, and Michigan claws all the way back, forces overtime, a wild overtime sequence. We think we're going to double overtime. All of a sudden, Layla Filia draws a foul, makes the 2, and Maryland has a chance on the other end to get a bucket to tie it. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, no, it was some end of overtime. Really thought Filia would miss it. And with that shot quality there by Jakia Brown-Turner there, it just, it was at the rim, catch it, and just put it up immediately and rolled around the rim and didn't go. Good, pretty well defended, but it was just a very good pass there. Ultimately didn't go, and for Michigan, just a very gritty win, finding ways to win. When you go on the road in the Big Ten, if you're Maryland, this would have been a massive win for them going into Crisler Center and winning, but Michigan clawing out of that halftime deficit, finding ways to win. Layla Fila, certainly not her best day, but made those free throws when it mattered most. They trusted the ball, put it in her hands, and she delivered by getting to the free throw line there. And again, coming off of what looked like a very potentially serious injury in the third quarter.
And what a game Saturday is shaping up to be. Michigan State. I mean, unbelievable win for the Wolverines. We'll sign off here. What a first half called by Shai, Dweck, and Meyer on that side on the first half. And then for Josh and Matthew, what a game. Michigan gets it done. A comeback, a wild comeback. Thank you for listening. And, of course, Go Blue will be back. Michigan will be in Michigan State on Saturday, so tune in for that along with much more live from WCBN.